Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every month we deep dive into different aspects of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchises. It doesn't matter because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And this month we are going through the franchise, the one-of-a-kind, the multi-million-dollar showcase, Twilight, and we are rounding out the franchise with
Breaking Dawn, Part 1 and 2. This is the finale episode.
This is a mega episode, a double feature, where some of us marathon through 4 hours of cinema to get here.
You chose to do that. I told you break it up, and you're like, no, I need answers now. I need to know everything.
I need to know, but who else needed to know is our guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm here. I've been here the whole time. I also marathon through.
She has never left. She lives in the studio.
Yeah, I'm just attached to Becky and Dean at this point. But yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
The journey's almost over.
I know. It's kind of emotional for me, honestly.
I was a little sad finishing the last movie last night.
When I watched the credits, I was um
Yeah,
for real.
same.
Okay. The credits for Breaking Dawn Part 2, they have everyone who was like part of the Twilight series.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to go into major spoilers, right? Obviously.
Sure,
We
why
always-
not?
It's
Okay.
the finale episode. We can do whatever.
Okay. Just
If you made it this far and you don't know what's going on, like, I'm sorry. There's 3 hours or 3 episodes before this.
Greg, you got to watch all the movies. Do it. It's okay.
It's okay. It's definitely okay. But yeah, when you get to the end credits of Breaking Dawn, it's just like they show all of the characters who have been in the Twilight series. And it's just brings a tear to my eye.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, this has been like truly the Twilight Saga, like a journey. Wow,
journey.
we've been on this together. Yeah, just
All the way to the beginning.
yeah, that first moment when Bella Swan's stank was
Drew in vampires.
yeah, just the fan hit her just right, and her stank wafted over to Edward, and it was love.
This
It's
whole
repulsion, but love.
This whole franchise is predicated on female BO, is what you're telling me? I see. But yeah, Breaking Dawn. So
Sponsored by Dove.
sponsored by Dove.
No, it's not. It should be, though.
What?
Oh, God.
You were
No.
talking about BO. Let me break out some of the Dove.
God. Jesus Christ. So, Breaking Dawn, Part 1, Part 2. I see you brought the big-ass book. I assume you read it before the movie came out.
No.
No?
Just
My
bought it
God.
and just sat there on the shelf.
It happens.
Yeah,
happens.
it does.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who hadn't read the book, how did you guys feel going into the theater when Breaking Dawn's coming out? Were you surprised that they split it up into 2?
No, because, they told us ahead of time, and it was like, it should just be one big movie.
Mm.
And it
Yeah.
sucked.
I don't remember. You
weren't here.
I wasn't here. I was gone in another dimension.
Yeah, Scotland.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was in the world of Harry Potter, the Wizarding World.
I was in the Wizarding World.
You were sticking to Twilight. She was like, I'm going to Harry Potter with all the cool kids.
I was in Forks, and she was in
England.
In
yeah.
England, yeah.
Yeah.
At Hogwarts.
Anyway, I'm just staring lovingly at Becky right now.
I know you're seeing,
I'm having
Edinburgh.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't remember my reaction, but I was going to ask, what was the distance between releasing Part 1 and then releasing Part 2? Like,
It's a year.
it was a year apart. They made us wait that freaking
Yeah.
long.
Here's the wild
Holy
thing.
moly!
I looked into this because I was like, I couldn't remember the context of how fast the turnovers for these were. Each one of these was a year apart.
Yeah.
From Twilight to Breaking Dawn Part 2, it's like 5 years. That's the entire franchise. And I'm like, what the actual
They
fuck?
had to crank them out fast.
That
Yeah.
was so fucking fast. Like,
And then they shot Part 1 and Part 2 together.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense.
And it's like,
yeah.
I get it, but give us one big movie.
It would have been pretty freaking epic to have that, because I think altogether it's like just over 3 hours.
For both of them together? It's like 4.
It's 4
each,
hours.
4 hours?
Each
Okay.
movie is 2 hours. Granted, the first one is only an hour 45 in the
Yeah.
credits.
Okay.
But also the first movie is about 30% montage. So tear that down. There's a lot of like just, let's just have Bella and Edward like hanging out on the beach and put some fucking Paramore under that. Fuck it, play the whole song. You know what? Play the song twice. Fuck it, let's just keep rolling. Yeah,
it's just vibes.
It's just
There's a lot of just vibes.
That is the best way to describe Breaking Dawn Part 1 is like, this is the vibe movie, and then we're going to do all the plot shit in Part 2. But this is the vibe movie,
Well, I mean, we've gotten to this point. It's like, yeah, we should finally have a win after, people trying to kill her, werewolves, more people trying to kill her. Like, oh, they're married. They're going on their honeymoon. Finally, we get to breathe, and then, no.
This is,
carpet gets pulled out from under
pun
us.
intended, like, climactic for all the fans of Twilight, because when you remember reading the books, it was like you're just on pins and needles waiting for the juicy moment when Bella and Edward can consummate their love.
When he's
Oh,
gonna start laying
here
some
we go.
vampire pipe and just like ruining that bed.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to do the sound effect.
What do
he was.
She's getting scared. I'm about to do the thing from last time.
Not last time, from every time. Every episode we do, it doesn't matter what, he's just, And I'm like, is that really necessary? We're talking about Citizen Kane, and you're like, this is how I feel when I watch the movie.
this
Wrong.
is how I feel. Disturbing, Dean, but
Wrong. So
we'll move
wrong.
When you're not
forward.
sitting there rubbing your temples.
She just likes making fun of me. But yeah, I mean, the movie is kind of, I guess it is a thing. They're the last movies in the franchise, so they have to like complete all the story arcs and all the plots and all this other stuff, because it opens with the wedding, right? Which, man, that wedding goes on for a while.
Does it? What?
It's a good amount of the book.
It is, and the honeymoon, I think, but
And then they pull one of the worst book tropes.
Break the
What is
bed,
that?
crack the frame.
The baby.
oh, the the baby.
I mean, like, what is it? Part 1 is just 5 plot points. Wedding, honeymoon, preggers, almost dying, what is it? Werewolf beef, and that's it? That's the entire first movie.
Yeah.
Right? Yasmin is like, is it that simple?
Yeah.
Was I that taken away by it?
It is.
She had a
that
lot going on at
simple.
Hogwarts. I was back
did.
home on the home base, going at the solo, like, how am I going to deal with this?
I need to talk about this.
And I'm like, I got to wait till it's either very late at night or early in the morning to be able to talk to her.
True. Time difference, gets you. But I guess that is the whole first movie. Does it? Wait, it opens actually on her talking about childhood ending.
Oh, yeah. And that's the last movie that we get her narration over. We don't get one in Breaking Dawn.
Okay, true. Okay, because there's narration in all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, part 2, we get narration.
No, it's the
Part
first.
1. Wait, sorry. Okay, yes.
Part 2, we get narration. I watched this last night.
The opening monologue? We don't get an opening monologue in part 2. We get the
Oh,
first
we
full
get the-
credit scene.
That's right.
True.
Yeah.
Because she's dead.
And then her eyes open.
I mean, she deserved to die, but that's just me. It would have been stakes, fucking stakes. This series has no stakes.
It has no stakes, and that's something I really, really want to talk about, which
No-
we talked about a little bit last time.
No stakes yet. He was telling me last night, he goes, I have enough belief in CGI that they could come back for Midnight Sun.
Okay,
This man wants a Midnight
totally.
Sun.
Total bullshit.
Wow.
I
We're-
have the text messages.
We'll
Do you
talk-
really want to
we'll
go
talk
there?
There's the
about this.
receipts.
Okay.
We'll talk about this. We'll
I'll-
talk about it at the end, where I think the franchise could go afterwards. All right.
Interesting. Okay.
But the movie does open with, finally, we have the wedding of Bella and Edward, and her. Are you really going to show her those text messages?
You're the one calling me out, and I'm like, I got the receipts, the proof, the timeline to back me up.
Gosh.
Yeah, I love
She's
how
got the
she does
receipts.
this, and she can't understand sarcasm over text message. So,
Do I need to show her
Opens-
about your excitement about Charlie being the goat?
Charlie is
And
the
then
goat.
you sending me the Jonah Hill, the man's the goat.
Shout
Charlie.
out to the goat.
Okay, so the movie starts with
Oh,
the wedding.
Poor Dean.
All right. And
Back on his bullshit again.
did the movie not start on the wedding? The movie starts on the wedding, right? And we get everyone
Well, it starts
gets
with a
to show-
nightmare.
Yes, it starts with the nightmare
It actually
because Bella is afraid because, Edward's going to snap that hoe. It's going to happen.
She's not afraid of that. She's afraid that he's going to
She's
kill
afraid
everybody.
of what she's going to do, I think, when she becomes a vampire.
Did you not like that montage, that dream sequence?
I thought it was one of the weaker ones, personally.
Well, I'm asking him since he's like, horror movie. Yeah.
I
Tons
mean,
of bodies.
honestly, it was just like, it was kind of lame. I ain't gonna lie.
Is it because Charlie was laying there dead?
Exactly. Like I like
I
Charlie.
figured.
It was kind of lame. It's kind of lame.
Mm.
I seem to recall that the film opens on like her trying to wear those white wedding shoes.
It does.
Okay.
It opens with Jacob running out of his house because they get the invitations.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I don't know the timeline they're trying to play here.
It's fast because they're
Are they
doing
trying to
it-
do like a 1 week turnaround of like invitations going out, wedding on Friday?
I don't know.
No, it's
Nope.
because they graduate.
They graduate, they get engaged, and then they set the wedding date for August 13th. So it's like this
A
is
month
like
before her birthday.
Yeah, this is just like a few months. Like they plan the wedding, remember, in like 3 months or
Mhm.
something. But yeah, it does. It does open with Jacob getting the invitation,
And everyone
and then
starts
her
to
parents,
get. Mhm.
and then it shows her trying to walk in those heels, and it's like, oh, what a great visual metaphor for like, am I gonna fit in, and like, am I gonna be able to like
Mhm.
fill these shoes, right?
Mhm.
Like
She's like,
being a
"Can I-"
vampiress.
Can I just walk down in my bare feet or whatever? And they're like, no, Bella, you fucking mountain hick. Wear the goddamn heels. Alice is so mean in this. Called her a mountain hick.
It is interesting that like Stephanie Meyer decided that the vampires in this saga needed to be like runway models, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
we need to be very fashion forward. And,
Yeah.
But I think I was thinking about the casting this morning, and I was like, I don't know. I think my biggest beef with this whole saga was the casting when I was a teen,
Mm-hmm.
because Stephanie Meyer, when you read the books, it's like everybody. I realized how important it was for everybody to be insanely hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not even good looking, but like to have like out of this world sex appeal.
I mean, even when you went on her website during this time, she had her visuals of who I want.
Her pics.
Her pics, and it
The
was
fantasy cast.
and it was like they're all incredibly beautiful people. I mean, Edward
Yeah.
was supposed to be Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
it was just like, damn, you really knocked it out of the park with that one. So it's like, there's no way that there's gonna be like, damn, that's an ugly ass vampire. Like, no, they're all hot. Like, okay.
The problem is
Their hairstyles are just fucking awful across the board.
terrible wigs. Yeah,
Yeah.
terrible wigs. Like really bad. But I told you that I was watching Bridgerton. Like I watched
Yes.
the Bridgerton series,
Mhm.
and a lot of the fan base of Bridgerton had like I guess qualms with the casting because
Mhm.
like the trouble is that when you get invested in fiction, you have this like idea in your imagination that like no one can really ever measure up to.
No.
Mhm.
So I thought this was interesting actually watching Breaking Dawn, because now you're seeing all these other vampires, right, from like the Cullens friends.
Yeah.
And at first I was laughing because I was like, this is absurd. This is like Beverly Hills. Like when you start seeing their cousins at the wedding, you're
Mhm.
like, okay, this is absurd. But
Yeah.
Even Bella's friends are just like, dog, like what? Look
Yeah.
at that fucking gene pool over there.
Yes.
Goddamn.
But then I was like, actually, that's how the books are. And
Yeah.
that's how it was supposed to be. And like, this was a thing too for me with the wolf pack.
Mhm.
Like, those guys are like, they're really like scruffy, cute little boys, But it's like in the book, they're supposed to be like hot. You were asking, why do they keep appearing shirtless all the
Mhm.
time? Like, they
Yeah.
just come out of this house. Because the books, and I said this last time, are very horny.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so, like, that's why everyone is supposed to be like over the top gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't work, I feel, because it doesn't have that. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's just supposed to have that tension,
Mhm.
Like
That
really
horny pull.
horny tension.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because like we said last time, Eclipse was horny. This
Yeah.
movie is real fucking horny.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns into a horror movie.
Yeah.
Part one is horny. Yeah.
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 Like most horror movies.
Most horror movies. But they have the wedding. It's a beautiful ceremony. Very nice. I guess Bella's best friend, Kristen Bell, right? Is like salty. Is that her?
Kristen Bell.
Is that's not who it is?
Anna Kendrick.
It's
Anna
Anna
Kendrick. Thank you. I don't know who the fuck
Kristen
these. I don't know who the fuck these people are because they have been relevant since the first movie.
Wow,
So-
Dean not doing his research.
Not a little bit. But I like how her, like, maid of honor speech or whatever is just like,
But
yeah,
she's not a maid of honor. She's just one of the random people making a speech.
whatever the fuck she is, her being like, I can't
Dean
believe
salty
Edward.
that no one invites him to his
I
wedding.
can't believe Edward didn't get with the captain of the volleyball team or the president of the yearbook committee. And I think it's funny how 90% of the speeches for this are just comedy
Awful.
bits. They're
Yeah.
all awful.
Yeah.
They're all funny. And then Charlie comes up and it's like, I learned a lot being a cop, like how to hunt a man. And it's like, I like Charlie. Charlie's funny.
There's
Oh, yeah.
also the speeches are filled with dramatic irony.
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, oh, Charlie, you think you know how to hunt somebody to the end of the earth, but
Like,
actually
no.
these are vampires.
Mhm.
Or there's other. Emmett's like,
Emmett
you're not
has the
going to
best
get
speech.
very much sleep now, and everybody thinks it's a sex thing, but it's actually, she's becoming a vampire
And also a sex thing.
and a sex thing.
And then
yeah,
you just cut
but
to Charlie where he's just like,
These fucking people. And then her mom starts singing a song, and I'm like, oh, honey, no.
we all cringed in the theater, so it did its job.
True.
They
It was
all did their
supposed
jobs.
to.
They all made us laugh. They made us cringe. It's like,
The effective moments of comic relief in this series, they help to take off the cringe, the edge of the cringe,
I was curious about that throughout this franchise. I'm not sure how much of it was intentional comedy and how much of it was unintentional cringe. Because,
Yes.
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 I think they started to own it by this time,
Mhm.
personally. Like, I think Twilight just isn't conscious of its cringe or comic effect.
Mhm.
And then
They
as
accept it.
Yeah, but then as they progress, they get better at it. And I think Taylor Lautner, Charlie's good at this, but Taylor Lautner also is one of the best people when it comes to comic relief, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's very natural
Mhm.
at it,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
In your opinion.
I'm going to say that over and over again.
In my opinion, yes. But they have the whole nice wedding thing. I think this is also, well, I guess it's right before the wedding. Edward reveals his dark backstory about how he used to kill people.
Yeah.
At the Bride of Frankenstein theater. I thought you might like that one.
Yeah. I was mildly amused with that.
I
scene.
did like that
Mildly
sequence.
amused.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that we are going to get a shit ton of flashbacks and world building throughout the next two movies, because they're like, well, fuck it, everyone gets a nice, cool past flashback. It'll be fun. But yeah, but Jacob finally shows up because he doesn't show up to the wedding, and it gets awkward quickly.
Because Bella's always revealing too much.
Too much.
He doesn't need to know.
She's your typical 18-year-old girl who's always putting her foot in her mouth.
Yeah.
I just felt like I should say this. Oh crap. Actually, never mind.
Bella, he's gonna kill you, right? I know you really want vampire dick, but he gonna kill you.
Bella annoys me more and more with every video. Wow. With
Yes.
every VHS I watch, with
Really taking us back.
each what am I trying
Movie.
to say? At each movie, I'm just like, dang, you get worse. I didn't think you could get worse, but you do. It's very different for me watching this as an adult woman
Yeah.
versus a teen. I'm just like,
Because as a teen, we were just like,
oh my
bro,
god,
let her live. Let her live her life. She wants to be a vampire and let her do
That's
it.
what she wants.
And now it's like, Bella, stop.
she's in love, and
Mhm.
Edward's so hot.
Yeah.
Almost like Jacob was right the whole time.
Jacob,
I mean, about living, yeah.
Living's nice.
Jacob
Not
was
having
toxic
your pelvis
AF.
shattered,
Why do you care so much?
Getting your pelvis shattered seems
What are
pretty
you doing when
painful.
I don't see you, huh? You
You
you have
guys,
a lot to say about this.
This movie.
Becky's so angry at me for
It's
some reason.
part one is so you can see so clearly how this set the stage for 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just like,
100%.
Oh my gosh, here we are. What's his name? Christian Grey or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm,
You're like, yep, this is the inspo. Anyway, sorry.
yes.
Yeah, Jacob definitely is the best in this movie in my opinion. And Eclipse, he was so toxic. So toxic.
It was the black t-shirt.
Yeah, it's just bad boy.
Bad boy in this one. He's like, I'm going to incorporate some color back in my life. And it's just like, he has the nice maroon one that he's always wearing now.
I like that color for
Yeah,
him.
it works.
Really suits. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Colors.
Color theory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets really salty because, Bella's going to go off and have her whirlwind honeymoon. And
As you do.
As you do. And, they go, wedding is done. They're going to go down to this private island off the coast of Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Esme, thank you. That comes up later. God, their names are weird. And they go to the honeymoon, and I think, again, that unintentional comedy of everything where it's like, oh, Edward, give me a minute. I need to get ready. And she just goes into, like, gotta brush her teeth, shave her legs, the whole
in the
nine
Losing
yards.
her virginity, people.
Yeah, and that's also in the book, too. That was something that I was waiting for them to do where it's like, I need a few human minutes. That's, like, something she says in the book, and then she goes and does, like, just human stuff, like, I gotta go pee or something like that. So it's like, oh, they finally said it, like, in the almost last movie.
I think this was one of the better moments, actually.
Yeah, because it's like, you could totally relate, oh, I gotta,
Yeah. Shave my legs, brush my teeth.
I've been on a
fix my
plane
hair.
for, however long. It's
Yeah.
like, I need to fix myself.
Also, just the anxiety. I think this is just really for women, like the anxiety of being presentable, especially the very first time that, like, you're gonna lose your virginity. You're like, there's so much that, leads up to this, and, like, just that those feelings of nervousness.
Because prior to this, she's like, I'm ready to go right now. And now it's like, ooh, it's
for
game
real.
time. Like,
yeah, like, this is real. This
Yeah.
is actually happening. Yeah.
She's like, I didn't know I wasn't a game time player. Oh, shit. Oh,
I
no.
also love the awkwardness of, like, looking in her bags and seeing what Alice has packed for her trousseau, like all the lingerie, and she's just like, oh, I can't do this. Because for women, a lot of sex, like, does culturally, like, feels performative, and it's, like, stressful. You're like, this isn't me. This is so awkward. Like, I love the part where she, like, wants to incentivize him to have sex with her, so she puts on the little black slip, and then she's like, but she walks out and she's like, I don't know what to do with my arms. Kind of like,
she's like, I've never been sexy before. And he's just like, oh my God.
And he
what
just
is she
laughs.
doing?
But, like, it do be like that,
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
do.
funny. It's cute. It's like an endearing little sweet moment.
It is so fucking funny. Those, like, those, like, memes or whatever, where it's just like when she is ready and it's like the black slip, the lingerie or whatever. And when he's ready, his beer gut is hanging over his tighty whities at the end of the bed. The dichotomy of man.
So unfair.
No,
it's hilarious.
It's like the memes too, where it's like, his view, and then they show like Wonder Woman, and they'll flip it and be like her view, and it's like Danny DeVito's the Penguin. It's just like, I'm like, yeah.
Well, she has Edward Cullen.
She does have Edward.
So
yeah.
he's, like,
yeah. So she's
out glistening in the moonlight.
She's winning life.
Yeah.
It is so funny when she's like, well, I guess, what this towel will do. She walks out and it's like, that was the right choice, honey. Right choice. And then Edward's just like, I'm just going to stand out here buck naked in the water. Being like, you know what?
He may be 100, but he's still a typical dude. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it all
just
off.
Get straight to
Yeah.
business.
What
yeah.
it's like that thing in what is it, like Seinfeld? It's either Seinfeld or How I Met Your Mother, where it's the naked man strategy.
Haven't seen either.
Okay, it's this fucking bit where they're like, the guy will go out on a date with a girl or whatever, and she's like, I'll be right back out to use the bathroom. So if he's in the apartment, he just strips down buck naked and just like waits in the apartment. And
that sounds like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, I think so. And they walk in and they're like, does that actually work? He's like, yeah, about 75% of the time. They're like, what do you mean? He's like, you got to be bold. Got to be bold. Women love confidence. And,
Oh, no.
and the guy who's saying this is like a balding like trucker dude, and he's like, bro, like, I'm not that smart, I'm not that charming, but confidence 75% of the time. And it's just a funny bit, and I feel Edward is going with the same thing. Just wait naked under the moonlight. 75% of the time it's gonna work.
I mean, he also knows that his wife and obsessed, lover is like has been wanting to jump his bones for a long time. So
He's been grooming her for this moment.
yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Not problematic. There's a lot of undertones of grooming here.
Yeah.
little bit.
We've got imprinting on babies. We've got 100-year-old vampires.
That's why kind of, he finally got there, and he was just like, Little like, oh yeah, you've been talking a lot of shit.
We'll get
Jacob for the win, and then
we're gonna
baby
get
lover.
to that part. We're
baby lover.
get to that part.
The family relations get super weird in Breaking Dawn when all the pieces start to come together, and then you start to realize, like, actually, this is so weird. So weird.
And especially when you start realizing how people outside of Bella and Edward are looking in on this relationship, and it's like, oh, this is kind of culty. Like, it's really we won't get into that. But we finally get to the moment. I assume you two were so excited in the theater when she finally got to jump his bones.
Surrounded by a ton of people trying to, like, don't look at me, don't
Why
make
are
eye
we all
contact.
watching this together?
Yeah, so it's just like, whew.
I was surprised rewatching it by, like, how steamy it is, because I'm like, it's mostly like girls who have come of age during this saga who are watching it now, and this might be pretty steamy for like a 19, 18-year-old. I don't know.
You don't know? No.
You're also a good girl, so.
I am very good.
Some of my friends by 18 had multiple children, so it was just kind of like,
wow.
They were just like, why are you watching Twilight? Like, I got some dick right over here.
Wow.
That was
Stephanie
her
Meyer, again, is a Mormon.
Yes.
So she was writing for little Mormons, little Christian girls.
You hate the Mormons so much.
And
You talk so much
I don't
trash
have
on
any
them.
problems with the Mormons at all. I mean, they're delusional, but
We're gonna get canceled by the
also,
Mormons.
you guys, Stephanie Meyer in the wedding scene.
she is.
She's in the wedding?
She's that lady wearing a red dress, brown hair, red dress, and she just like smiles at them as they're walking.
And the guy
she's
behind
letting
her
them in.
is the producer, and then one of the other writers, she's in the, like, not the wedding party, but she's in the audience.
The producer's probably like, these movies cost so little fucking money, and we're making so much goddamn money, boys. Ride it out into the sunset. Let's fucking roll.
No, they were kind of like, oh, we helped them get, to this point. We want to be there, on their wedding day. So I was like, okay. I'm like, that's kind of nice. I mean, she's in the first movie too.
Bless you. I got her before she even did it. Bless you again.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Damn.
Wow, yeah, she's in the first movie, and then here we come full circle. Stephanie Meyer watching her characters get married.
Yeah.
And she was probably sitting there like, would have been better if it was Henry Cavill. But
I'll accept it.
I'll accept it. But yeah, so
Go back to the honeymoon, sorry.
they have their honeymoon. They're boinking.
Oh, why are you asking us the questions?
Boink.
How are you feeling about this? Because you've been,
I thought it was
this is
fucking
your first
hilarious.
time.
you were, waiting for this moment.
I thought it was fucking hilarious when he's like, all right, and they're gone, and he just snaps the fucking backboard on the bed.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, relatable. Fucking, I get it, my guy.
Oh,
fucking girl with it. It was just so fucking funny.
It was awkward the way they decided to like edit that, because I don't know. I just feel like the timing was comic, and like the way she's just like, it's okay, and then it just like cuts. You're like, wait, okay. Are you just accepting this? Like, you could have, I don't know. It was just awkward the way they handled it. Yeah.
And it was awkward being surrounded by a ton of people in the theater. Like, oh, I feel like a pervert.
God, you're sitting there. It's like I'm in a porno theater, and
It's a
this is like, this is
peeping Tom moment.
PG-13. You're
Is
fine.
this PG-13?
Yeah.
Check the back of the box. We got the.
Are
She
you
brought the DVD.
We got the boxes
Are you
here.
kidding?
How?
PG-13.
How? That sex
How is
scene
this
was...
not PG-13?
Y'all,
We don't see
this-
butt or anything.
Okay, but like there's like multiple steamy sex scenes, and then there's like a lot of violence. Is this not rated R for? Okay,
None of
wow.
them are rated
I
R.
None
am
of
a
these are rated
Quaker.
R. Yes.
I actually love the Quakers.
The
The Amish and the Quakers.
I
love
can't
them.
wait for us to do the podcast spinoff where it's not like the film club, it's the religion club, and we just talk to Yasmin about weird
You
religions.
should invite Randy too.
Oh, God.
Randy would be like, okay, so this is part 12 of Zoroastrianism, and it's gonna get weird.
I'll just
They
meet you
worship
guys
fire.
at the
Sounds
sandwich shop.
Fascinating. We need a okay. How many people have a theology podcast? Come on, that is cool. That is cool.
I will be eating sandwiches while you guys talk about religion for 4 or 5 hours.
But
They're gonna have to kick you guys out of here. They're gonna be like, "We're closing up for the night, but wait, we have more. We have more." Like,
we
no.
can call ourselves the Three Magi.
oh, okay. You know what?
Mic drop.
Future Dean, cut that, save that, send it to Netflix. We got a thing going on. So the next morning, they've consummated their marriage. It's lovely. She wakes up and she's like, life is wonderful. Man, Edward fucked up this room.
And it's hilarious.
There's down feather everywhere.
It is funny. Also, I like how she's like at the robe and he's like, did I hurt you? And she's like, no. And it's like, look at all these like bruises you have in your body. And I'm like, dog, that ain't that bad. Honestly, that's
same. Just a couple of bruises.
Also, like, fucking, you can get that from normal sex people.
True. Normal.
Yeah.
Normal humans.
Sorry, you
having
can get
conjugal relations.
You can get bruises
True.
from normal sex,
Yes.
people.
No, the
But
normal sex
also-
people. I wonder if they're related to the atomic supermen.
The atomic Superman. I'm mad there's no Bela Lugosi cameo. Why were they not watching Dracula in the flashback?
We get a Dracula drop in part 2.
We'll get there. God, the Russians are so fucking hilarious.
They're
Okay.
Romanians.
Stop,
I know what I said.
Stop.
So,
Don't get me started.
they but yeah, so she's like a little banged up after getting a little banged up. And now Edward is like, now I can never touch you again. I hurt you. Woe is me. And I think this is when we cut back to Jacob. No, is that? No, because we find out that they're pregnant and then we go back.
No. We cut back to Jacob. He's on the beach with the rest of the wolf pack. This is where we get into more of the imprinting stuff.
Yeah, because we find out more about how imprinting works. I guess I find out more about imprinting works because you two are experts, actual, master's level degrees in Twilight. The true Twihards.
We opened a book and read the pages, so yeah, I guess so.
Beyond me. But yeah, I learn more about how this imprinting works, and it's, again, I don't think in Eclipse it was explained well, because it comes across as like, yeah, basically now I'm imprinted on you, and now we're just like fuck buddies, that's just, we're in a relationship now, like romantic now. But in this, it's more explained that it's like, it's not necessarily romantic, it's kind of like a soulmate kind of thing.
And that's what we had said in the previous episode. It's kind of like a soul tie until it turns into a romantic thing.
Does it always turn into a romantic thing? Again, I don't know about the deeper context of the book.
I mean, I don't think so, because actually in the movie, when Jacob explains, it's in part 2 that Jacob explains the imprinting. But he says, like, you'll be whoever you need, I'll be whoever she needs me to be, like a brother, a friend, like, so, I mean, I don't think it necessarily has to become romantic, but we do see that
It generally comes romantic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll be problematic later. We'll get into that.
It will.
I do think that these moments are good, though. Like, they're having a basic, conversation about, like, not being loved, like, unrequited love and, like, how that feels. And I think that, yeah, these are good discussions, good moments.
And it's like Jacob could have ended up with Leah.
Could have.
Leah was with Sam, and then he imprinted on Emily, and it was like, these two people are feeling rejected by the people they feel like they should be with. And it's like, oh, they kind of hate each other, but they can grow to love each other. That would work instead of what we get.
I thought that's what they were building up to, honestly, and how the stories built up. I thought that's what they were like leading to.
That
And then
Leah and because you feel that there's a tension between them. Like, hate can easily turn to love. Yeah, it's weird in that way. But no, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
No.
We'll get to it when we get to it. All right, people, it's coming up because back on Esme, the island of Esme.
Yeah, not on Esme.
Esme.
Yes.
That would be Carlisle.
Yes. Good for him. Go, my bro.
Wait a minute.
It gets weird. So,
Sorry, the Carlisle of Esme. Okay, you guys.
Yes.
I can't.
Are you okay?
I know I'm not okay. I'm having a stroke, actually.
No, for Bella finds out that she's preggers.
Yeah, that's where the book really was like, what?
Oh, really?
We weren't expecting that.
I don't think any of us wanted Bella to get knocked up.
And she never wanted children. She never said, like, oh, if I do this, I give away my opportunity to be a mother. It's like, no, I'm good.
I feel like that was a thing in Eclipse that they were talking about. At least with
That was Rosalie.
well, yeah, through Rosalie, but I thought that was a thing where it's like Rosalie's like, these are my regrets and da 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 da. I want you, Bella, to know this
But
because
those were her
yeah.
regrets. It wasn't Bella's regrets.
Rosalie's
It's-
more of a mature woman too. Like
Well, Rosalie is communicating her regrets so that like Bella, this is like the reality of being a
Yeah.
vampire, and maybe Bella didn't say it out loud, but it's a thing where it's like, hey, if you do this, you'll have no children, you'll stay a 18-year-old for the rest of your life, and that's it. Like, there's no legacy you leave on past yourself.
And she's
And I
like,
think-
bet.
because she's a teenage girl.
Yeah, she's like,
She's
I don't
not
need them
thinking
kids.
about kids.
Oh.
I mean, I will say that this is very convincingly portrays the way that a teenage girl thinks. Just like, but
That-
I love him.
It's
well,
very
you're
Ariel, yes.
yeah, for reals.
Mhm.
I'm 2 weeks late, Edward.
Except
I'm
instead
super
of losing your
preggies.
voice, you lose your eternal soul.
But it also goes with the books too, where how she's written, that she's like permanently 35 and she's been raising her mother since, she became, like a teenager or whatever. So it's kind of like, well, she kind of had that experience of, I got to make sure my mom's okay. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm taking care of the household. So now it's like, I get to be free. I get to be wild. So that's why I was like, no, now she wants this baby. It's like, when? Where? You never expressed this anywhere.
I feel the undercurrent of it was something that was on her mind. Maybe it wasn't.
We
an
knew it was
explicit
on her
want.
mind.
Yeah. Well, again, Stephanie Meyer's a Mormon. She's like, why would you have sex unless you were procreating? Like, I don't understand this.
I don't know. I wish I remembered more of the books because, like, I really don't remember that. But that makes what you're saying, Becky, makes sense. Yeah,
I read them a little too much.
we need it.
No shot. She's been aggressive this entire series, being angry at me, yelling.
I mean, this is very close to her heart.
And Dean's like, oh, she enjoys something. I must destroy it.
I must. I
Mhm.
must. It compels me. But yeah,
Wait
so
until we get to Lord
You're
of
just
the
like
Rings.
Edward, Dean. You're like, she loves anything other than me. It must-
anger.
Actually, that's not true. Edward is way too understanding. Can we just talk about that? It's like, it's your wedding day, and your bride is literally like behind the reception, like embracing another guy. I don't know. Bella pisses me off, y'all. Like, she's so freaking annoying. I get tired, like I said, of like the narcissistic, like, ego of,
Mhm.
the Twilight sphere. So, like,
The narcissistic ego.
just everything revolves around Bella in the Twilight series in like a very unrealistic way with no real consequences. We were
Mhm.
talking about this
Yeah.
last time, and it never like struck me as problematic till I started rewatching this as an adult, and I'm like, that's not how life works.
Mhm.
And actually, like, I have more to say about this regarding the baby, but anyway.
Okay, because I
Sorry.
do admit that it's the amount that this revolves around Bella is weird, but I guess it makes sense because it's her story, right?
Yeah.
But there is the thing where it's like, yeah, Edward is like trying to be like, I'm the perfect boyfriend. Yeah, I used to kill people, but they were all serial killers, so like I'm still the good guy, right? And also like, yeah, you can go dance with Jacob. It's okay because I'm understanding. I'm chill about that. But also the whole underline of like, yeah, but after you dance with Jacob for the last night, I get you for eternity, and I get to watch that motherfucker die. Like Edward's always, I think Edward's playing
Please,
the
that
long
sounds like
game.
something that you would say.
Edward's playing the long game. Thus, yeah.
Hello.
We've been over this. But yeah,
I just think it's problematic that I don't believe like any of the characters exist outside of her, and that like they don't even have real motivations. Like even Jacob, like when he's like, but I love you, it's like, it's not like here's a real person with real motivations that complicate what the protagonist wants. It just makes the whole thing like hotter for her,
Mhm.
She's like, oh, two men love me, two men are obsessed with me, they're like fighting over each other, but they're also not going to kill each other because they love me that much, so they're going to make all these sacrifices, and then this whole family is going to like repeatedly endanger themselves. Okay, we're going to
And their friends.
and their freaking friends and everyone, because you decided to get knocked up while you were still human. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
that causes some problems.
Oh,
yeah.
She's
yeah.
so selfish too that like they didn't have to have sex before she was changed. She just was like, I want to experience it.
She's
And
like,
then,
I want to
like-
experience that supernatural vampire cock in my human vagina.
Do you have to
'Cause
be
it's gonna
that
be
graphic?
Yes, because again, it's like the flowery
No.
language. Well, because I'm just taking it away from like the abstract, where she's like, I want to like feel like the love between us while I'm still human and I can feel it, and it's like, no, that's what she wants. She wants some supernatural cock. That's what she
It
wants.
is when it comes down to that.
Yeah.
It is like, you have a problem. You have a problem,
Yeah.
Bella Swan. She's just, I don't know. And like, it irritates me that she always seems like she's being so caring. Like, I have to protect my dad. I have to protect my mom. Or I'm like, I really care about your family. But it's like, bitch, you say those things, but your actions say otherwise.
Yeah.
She just is irritating as hell. Or
Mhm.
like, Jacob, I love you. Kiss me. But it's like, that doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
You're just making him, you're putting him in a worse mental state.
Because you
Yeah.
friend zone him hard, and now
Mhm.
you're gonna kiss him. I don't know. I just feel like she is the quintessential stupid teenage girl who doesn't think of things outside her existence or
Her bubble.
experience. Yeah, it's just aggravating.
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna tie into the first of all, the pregnancy and the final fight scene,
Mhm.
which that's a whole thing that I
Mhm.
was like, okay. Anyway, I'm getting
Okay.
ahead of myself.
And
No
the fight
worries.
between her and Edward, where it's like he finally lets her have it, and I was like, thank you, because she makes this decision. She's gonna keep the baby, and he's like, we didn't even talk about this.
Oh yeah.
She's like, you kind of just rolled with it, got someone to back you up, and then
Rosalie.
yeah, and then it's
He
like
selfishly just wants a baby for herself.
yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, we're stuck with
Right.
this baby that might kill you and take you away from me forever, defeating the purpose of
Yeah.
turning you.
We're kind of having
Yeah.
an abortion argument here in the middle of the Twilight series.
The
They're like,
movie starts making some arguments about it, and it's very weird and
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're not going to approach that. Not a politics podcast,
yeah.
but
But it is kind of touching on that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of like, even like Alice and Rosalie being like, Alice is like, it's a fetus, and Rosalie's like, it's a baby. And you're like, okay, this is an abortion debate.
in the middle of fucking Twilight.
yeah.
It's like, we don't know what the hell this is, why this was written into the book. We did not
we know why
want
it's written
this.
into the book because Stephanie Meyer's a Mormon.
We know that, but it's like,
Okay.
we didn't ask for that.
We didn't ask
want
for that. We don't
It's-
want this.
It's a female writer writing about a female protagonist about going through the stages of like romance or whatever. I'm like, I could see her being like, well, thematically we should touch on this, but also, honey, you're writing a vampire werewolf romance novel.
It's not the time.
Mhm.
But I digress. So Bella's pregnant.
Yep.
It is not looking good for her.
No.
Everyone's freaking the fuck out.
Mhm.
They're like, well, we're gonna have to figure this out. So they go back to Forks. Jacob finds out, and it's a big issue because I guess there's like a whole like treaty vampire thing where they're like, look, guys, Bella needs to die now because we don't know what the fuck that thing's gonna turn out to be, and it's gonna be a problem.
And Jacob's also a big mouth too. He finds out and he's like, guys, guess what? And it's just like
Relatable.
zero. Yes. Oh my God, yes. I can't tell Dean anything because he runs around and tells people everything.
Becky was looking for her Edward. Unfortunately, she found a Jacob. I'm sorry.
I don't know what I found.
You're not sure what it is.
I don't know what it is.
I turned into the creature from
Much
the
like-
Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
I'm a different kind of monster creature. But yeah, so this is like there's a now big conflict with the Wolf tribe and the Cullens because they're like, and also both of them are kind of like, Bella, like, we don't really know what the fuck that's gonna be.
This might be, something that's completely out of control.
Like,
A killing machine.
it's like it's not a
Guys.
it's like it's not a fetus, it's a baby. That's not the argument. It's like it's a baby. No, it's a demonic spawn from hell.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you seen
okay.
Have you seen the paintings?
We didn't ask for this. The teen girls who were excited for Breaking Dawn to come out, they were there at midnight for the Breaking Dawn release, did not ask for this. But I will say it is kind of interesting, like if we want to go on a Rosemary's Baby type of bender.
So down.
Yeah, that just like, okay, we're having this question now of like, is this a monster? Like, is Edward a monster for doing this? Or like, is he a villain? Or is he, I don't know, her one true love? Like, what the hell is this thing? Is she crazy?
Is
Like,
she
can we
crazy?
trust her? Right? Like, remember Rosemary?
Yeah.
who can be trusted in this situation? That could be, it could have been explored in a more like interesting way.
I mean, you cut like 2 of the musical montage. You can add 10 minutes of exploration on this.
True. Just like,
Lots of Googling.
Googling.
No, it was Yahoo.
Oh, that's right. It was Yahoo.
That's how I know this was made in 2011.
Could have been Bing.
Oh. I love seeing Bing show up in movies because I'm like, you paid so much money to put that in this movie, didn't you? Like, because Bing will pay a studio to be like, use our search engine. We want people to, instead of Google it, to Bing it.
We want to be bigger than Google.
We want people to DuckDuckGo it.
We're going to be the Zune of this world. And it's like, no.
Yikes.
Guardians of the Galaxy probably increased Zune's sales 100-fold from 2 to 4. But yeah, so
I've got to call my one friend that had a Zune in high school, and we all made fun of her.
my buddy Alex still has a Zune.
I could believe that.
Never bought an iPod. He's a Zune man.
I kind of respect that. Anyway.
Yeah. So Bella's pregnant and everyone thinks she's giving spawn to the Antichrist. So
she's not eating raw meat, she's drinking blood.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, this is where I wanted to bring this up. So I don't know, did Kristen Stewart actually cut weight for this?
No, it's CGI.
Is it all CGI? Because she looks like, even when she's like alive, she looks like rail thin.
No, I was watching the making of this, and I forgot what they called the term, but it's like painting the face on like whatever CGI software there is. So they turn it like into plastic, so they're able to like push her cheeks in. And
to like contour her face a little bit.
Her shoulders.
That was creepy.
I realized
because she looks bony.
Yeah, she's supposed to look like she's just wearing away like a skeleton.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized too, like, oh, this has to be CGI because she has to do the rest of Breaking Dawn, like part 2, where she's her normal. So she wouldn't even had time. Probably would have been dangerous for her too to like look that thin.
Gaunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because during like the whole making of documentary, they talk about, we're filming stuff for part 1, and then we go to lunch, and then we start filming stuff for part 2. So there's no way she could get rail thin, and then okay, we gotta chunk you up after lunch a little bit, so
that's the thing. She's just like, in the morning, I just like super thin. Then we have lunch, fucking like 6 milkshakes, a large fry, and we're rocking it. And then after lunch, fucking laxatives and run it through. We're good.
Laxatives and run it through.
Is that gonna be your
horrified?
Is that gonna be your wedding regimen?
That's my diet plan. That's how I'm gonna get shredded.
That's how when he said the 6 milkshakes, I'm like, oh, we're getting his notes over there, and then just laxatives.
He's writing this down right now in his notebook.
Actually, wait. Okay, future Dean, cut that out. Send it to Netflix. We got some money.
You and Netflix.
So, but yeah, because like this might be because this is like the last group of movies or whatever, and I think we mentioned it where it's like they're all shot close together because they're vampires are not supposed to age or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like the first one where I'm like, oh yeah, you can kind of tell they're starting to get older because Kristen Stewart started this when she was what, like 18, I think.
Yeah.
So she's now like 20 something here. And like Taylor Lautner, I think, was like the youngest, right?
I think he was like 16.
16, and now he's like 21. Because I think, Yasmin, you might have mentioned this either really earlier or off mic that Taylor Lautner now like looks like an adult. Like
he looks
like a
handsome.
man.
Yeah,
he's come into his own. Yeah.
This is the movie where you're like, maybe
he has surpassed Edward. No, but also, I mean, Kristen Stewart looks different, like you said. I think it works well because now she's become a vampiress, and she's also like come more into her like adult feminine looks. She's looking less like girlish. Edward is starting to look old. Edward is starting to get some wrinkles on his forehead, and I'm like,
it's smoking.
All that smoking.
I was like, don't smoke, kids.
But yeah, Taylor is Taylor's looking great.
Yes, she had to look off longingly into the distance.
She was gone.
So, now, yes.
I was going to say, the CGI that they did to make her look like a skeleton, I thought was, like, worked really well. But the CGI baby...
Oh, it's awful.
So bad. It's so bad.
Some of the CGI in this is, like the Gaunt or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's like, really good. It's probably because, like, half of it's her, half of it's CGI, and it's blended really well. So it's like, oh, I can get behind this. This looks good. The wolves, for the most part, look like pretty solid, for
Yeah.
what it is,
The scary meat puppet of pregnant Kristen Stewart is terrifying, but it looks exactly like her. You got to look at those pictures. Those are terrifying.
Jesus Christ.
That whole sequence just freaked me out. Like, oh, no.
But
when she dies?
When she dies and when she's on the table, and even when she breaks her spine, too, because it's a puppet.
That's a puppet?
That's a puppet, because they can't get her to,
I guess, bend that far.
contort that way. Yeah, so no, it's a puppet that they made, full-scale puppet of her, and it's so
That
unsettling.
labor scene was, I mean, as someone who's given birth twice,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You were like
You've been
so
there.
accurate, so
No,
like perfect,
not
1
accurate.
to 1. I remember
Like-
Kevin punching me in the chest to bring me back.
Stop. No, like I've given birth twice naturally. Very positive experiences. Like great, like joyful experiences.
Would recommend. Do it again.
Yeah,
Sure.
like definitely will do it again. But
Is that on your Yelp review?
Yeah, like
5
labor,
stars,
10
would
out of
do it.
10, like great, like a little bit uncomfortable, but like yeah, would do it again. I'm sorry. But like that was traumatizing. Like as a woman who was given birth, I'm sure it's traumatizing for everyone, but like having done it, I'm like, oh god, like no.
And it's that
just-
graphic in the book, too.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah,
It
it's
turns into a
bad.
gore film.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fun. But yeah, so Bella's like super preggers. They're like trying to keep her alive because the baby's like low key, like on the real actually killing her. And Jacob's like, okay, you're going to take Bella away after this? I got to go strip naked in front of Charlie
That's
and show
part
him the
2.
truth.
We haven't gotten to
No,
part...
that's part 1.
No, that's part 2.
I'm going to check my notes.
No. I think it is part 1 because they've changed. Oh no, hold on.
I'm checking my notes because, again, this is 4
When
hours
he
of
strips
movie.
down?
Oh no, it's
That's
part
part
it's part
two.
2. It's
Oh,
part
that's
2.
right. That's right. He's still
the
fighting
beginning
the
of part
fucking.
2.
He's still fighting the fucking wolf people.
Yeah,
Cool.
we haven't
So-
gotten to,
when Jacob strips down in the woods.
We know you want to get to when, Jacob does a strip tease.
It is
I
so
know.
fucking funny.
You just gotta wait a
It
little
is
bit
so
longer.
fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's another
Dean
one
was
of
projecting himself onto Charlie. He was like, I am
No.
there.
No, Dean
So
wishes
weird.
he was in between the two of them. He's like, Charlie's here, Jacob's stripping. Oh my god!
Stop.
If they brought some milkshakes, it really would be the best day of my life.
milkshakes, yard, whole 9 yards. So
Lots of wood.
awful. So
He was chopping
now
wood.
they're, now Jacob is he spilled the beans to the wolf tribe, and now he and like Leah and Seth, they're like coming together, and they're like, we're gonna protect the Cullens and Bella from the wolves, and we're gonna like keep them safe. And it gets awkward quickly because Bella's like now goes into labor,
Yeah.
right? And the contortioning looks awful, real bad, and she like fucking dies on the table.
Yeah.
Right.
As you do.
As you do. And Edward's like, all right, Jacob, kind of low-key killed Bella with my penis. You can kill me when we're done here. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go outside and cry like a bitch. But Rosalie has the baby now, right?
Yeah.
The baby's alive. Cool. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they named the baby... What did they name the baby? What did they name the baby in your favorite franchise?
You're talking about I'm a little aggressive today. I don't think you really want to poke me. No, they named her one of the stupidest names.
Yes.
Renesmee.
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 And they even had the conversation about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, even Edward was like, that's kind of, or Jacob was like, that's kind of a stupid fucking name.
And
Jacob's
Edward's like,
right.
and
Mhm.
Edward's laughing like, yeah, it is stupid, but oh yeah, you're my wife, so I kind of have to back you up.
Yeah,
The best part is their boy name, where it's like, I'll call him EJ, Edward Jacob.
that was so fucking horrible. So
Yeah.
cringe. I was just like, I need to disappear.
Hurt
Like
your soul a little bit, right?
I remember that in the books. Just
I
like,
was
oh
like,
god, what are you thinking?
She's so dumb.
But you know who's more dumb? The women out there that went and named their children Renesmee after this movie.
Wait,
Stop.
what?
Yeah, it was a thing. It's like
Oh.
with most major movies where people were inspired and they named their children.
Wow.
Oh, no, the best are the people, because I think there's like the right age now where there's like second graders named Daenerys from like
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
There are.
Because
Yeah.
people would name their kids before the last season came out.
Katniss.
You guys, I
Katniss,
was at the
yeah.
park the other day and this really sweet boy who was probably like 4 was playing with my kids. And, there were other kids there. We were
Yeah.
in a homeschool like a homeschool co-op park day.
Okay.
And so this little boy, he has a hipster dad, and he's like calling his son. He's like,
Oh,
it's time to
no.
go now. And he's like, oh, sorry. Before his dad called him, I was like, what's your name? And he's like, my name's Bowser. And I was like, oh, you're
Bowser.
so funny.
Oh, no.
You're so cute. You're so funny. And then his dad was like, Bowser, it's time to leave. And I was like, my jaw was on the
That-
floor. I was like,
You were like, oh, that's a nickname.
Bowser?
You're like, that's a nickname. No, that's your Christian name.
That
oh,
is your name. You named your child after a villainous turtle. Okay.
He's a cool turtle. I like
Yeah,
Bowser.
But like,
Bowser.
almost made me wonder, are you one of these parents who like just lets your kid decide everything? And so when he turned 4, you were like, what's your name, son? And he's like, it's Bowser. And you were like, that's your name. Like,
Oh, God.
I don't know.
That
Dude.
is-
I'm just like, I can't.
I don't recommend anybody giving into that philosophy because if you did, your child's name will be Batman.
What's wrong with that?
Hey,
Again,
what if you've got a lot of Spider-Mans and they're like, I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. I'm
Then you do the
Spider-Man."
meme.
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, you're applying for a job interview. Yes. Batman ice cream sandwich. Interesting. Maybe we'll try another time. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Should I just say all the things that I hate about this movie, like as we go, or should I like wait? Till
Well, I mean, like,
you
look,
brought up the Edward James Renesmee thing.
look,
and I was like,
we just jam through it. Like we're like an hour in.
all
Like the
right.
thing is like because after this it wraps up like really fucking quickly, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
because we get
The imprinting, the wolves are like, oh, you imprinted, all right, we Gucci, and then Bella doesn't, and then Edward manages to revive Bella by turning her into a vampire. That's the last 3 plot points of the whole movie.
Yeah.
it is. We get
Right.
our Bride of Frankenstein moment.
Your favorite part? Actually, wait a minute. Foreshadowing. That was in the beginning of the movie, and she's the Bride of Frankenstein at the end of the movie.
Oh my god.
Kino. Okay, but now,
Kino.
but now, Yasmin, your turn to shit on this entire movie,
Y'all,
please.
okay.
I'm ready.
I have stuff for part 2, but I'm gonna just try to say the stuff for part 1. Okay. The scene where Jacob turns into a wolf and starts running through the forest, and then he starts hearing all the thoughts of his other wolf friends, and then this is the first and only scene where the wolves talk to each other in wolf form.
Yeah.
Yes. Really
Terrible.
weird.
So bad.
And
So
then you
bad.
get the I'm alpha scene. And it's just like, oh.
And then you're like,
I'm the
this,
grandfather
and then
of
you're
this
like,
person.
this reminds me of Up. This reminds me of the scene in Up where the dogs are fighting over who's alpha.
Yeah. They just need the
Except
cones.
that's good.
Yeah.
and funny. It was so bad. So bad. The EJ thing, I was like,
Yeah.
I've never hated you more, Bella. You're such a pick-me. You're such a stupid little girl. What
Yasmin
else
would
did I
have
hate?
punched out Bella if she went to high school with her. You would have bullied Bella.
Oh yeah, I would have been like, bitch. I put on all my rings with all my studded rings, and like, let's have a fist fight. Like, let's
All your
go.
Hot Topic rings.
Yeah, take off my hoop earrings, and it's just like, beware. Okay, no, she's just
You'd have,
I don't
you
know
were
where
the
this-
menace of Catholic school.
yeah.
the
I don't know
menace.
where this Yasmin came
the
from.
chola Yasmin. No, it
Because
just
I remember
Bella
the emo pixie cut Yasmin
yeah,
that I
the
grew up
sweet
with.
scene kid Yasmin who would not hurt a fly.
They would go take photo shoots in front of the brick walls.
Yeah, that is the Yasmin who identified with Bella Swan. Dumb.
God, you were a MySpace
She's
kid. Jesus
dead to
Christ.
me. Oh yeah, for reals
Yeah.
I was.
Jesus.
I mean, I didn't have the hair like this major scene hair, but like it was still a pixie cut.
Yeah, it was pixie.
No, like adult Yasmin would be like, I don't care if you're pregnant, like we're fighting. Like you are okay, can we just say this? She is the problem. It's like not even Edward, it's not even Jacob, it's not even like the wolf vampire thing, it's not even the Volturi. Okay, their Volturi are kind of problematic.
Yeah,
it's
they are.
Bella.
It's Bella.
Bella, as Ara likes to say. Anyways, there's more cringe things, but I can't think of them right now.
I mean, again, the whole fact that she named him Renesmee is just weird.
So it's like, Bella, what happened to you? Like, what happened?
We know what happened to her.
Yeah, I mean,
Ever since she almost got hit by that car, probably
True.
banged her head.
And
Okay.
she's
She
like
banged her
vampire
head,
talk.
yeah.
I wish at the end of this whole saga, it was just like she wakes up and it's like, Bella, you've been out for a while. And she imagined all of
Yeah.
this.
And like Edward's there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I saved her. I pulled her out of the way, but she banged her head. wait, you're not a vampire? He's like, no, I'm ragingly gay. And he just runs away. That would be
With
the funniest.
Jacob.
Flicks,
That'd be the
flicks his
funniest
scarf
twist.
over his
The
shoulder.
funniest twist
Yeah,
of this
there you
whole
go.
franchise.
There you go.
But yeah. But yeah, that's Breaking Dawn Part
Nice.
1.
That's part 1, and then we transition to part 2. She's
Yeah,
on the table, eyes open.
I do like how the movie ends with,
eyes
the
flicker.
eyes flickering open like it's fucking Blade or some shit. It was cool because she's like looks dead and then she starts coming back to life. It's like, oh, cool. Oh,
What'd you
Venom's
think of
working, cool.
the post-credit scene?
Oh, I didn't stay to the post-credit scene.
We go to the Volturi.
Oh, really?
They pulled a Marvel. There's an after-credit scene.
What happens? Because I
Yasmin-
didn't see it either.
Yasmin is also like, I walked out of the theater as soon as the credits hit. I was gone.
Oh, it's the Volturi. They get word that Bella has been changed. She's, now a vampire, and it's Aro, well, we're gonna find a way to fuck up the Cullen's life anyway. So it's just like
'Cause Michael Sheen is the best part of part 2. The fucking best part of part 2.
better than Charlie.
Okay, he's in the top 3 best parts of part 2. Okay, because he's in a different movie.
Oh yeah,
I love his laugh when he meets Renesmee for the first time.
Oh my god.
It's
The
Kino.
high pitched.
I remember being in
Yes.
the theater, and be like, "What the fuck is that?"
It
Like,
was in character though.
it was in character, but I
super-
just
it's
wasn't.
supposed to be kind of creepy and weird.
I thought it was just unexpected. That I was kind of like
Okay.
weird, but I mean, there's a lot of unexpected things. that
Oh,
happen.
I remembered something else. I hate you guys.
Everything.
When Edward
Happiness, joy.
How emo of you today, Yasmin. I haven't seen the side of you in a long time.
someone give me a dying rose.
My Chem's gonna be back in concert next year.
What?
Yeah, Dodger Stadium.
Okay, are we going?
I don't know.
We'll have to talk about that later.
We will.
But when it's the night before her wedding, Edward comes into her room. He's like, "Hey, baby girl, we're getting married." And then,
Hey, baby girl.
yeah, and
Gotcha,
then
gotcha. Cool.
Emmett, like that horrible effect where Emmett, like,
Don't make me come in there.
yeah, Emmett surges up to her window and he's like, "You can't keep it forever, Bella." And then you see him. Why do we have to see that shitty like effect where he jumps down from the window and then like we get this aerial view of like. Then we see Jasper, and then we get this aerial view of like Edward, Jasper,
And they're going to go
And
have a
Emmett.
bachelor party or
and they're like,
whatever.
yeah, and they're doing the hokiest, dumbest little thing where they're like kind of like punching each other's shoulders. Like,
Why do you guys do that?
It's so
It's a
dumb.
man thing.
Oh, it's so corny. I was
What-
just
also,
like,
what was his bachelor
no.
party?
They're gonna go hunting.
Hunting, literally just eating.
What was Bella's bachelorette party?
Nothing. Just being
I don't even know if-
awkward and scared.
I'm like, I don't even think she gets a bachelorette party in the book.
Also, y'all, how many times are we gonna see Alice drop something and then everybody be like, "Alice, what is it?" And then she's like,
What's
and then
wrong?
she looks at the screen and like, like a little
Bella's
doe
in
and is
trouble.
like, no, she says, "They're coming." How many times?
That happens, I think, in once in
They're
every
coming.
movie. That happens like once in every movie. It's fucking okay.
I'm
Hey,
sorry. I'm
you
sorry.
used to cosplay as Alice, and you never dropped
Oh,
anything.
she's cool. Okay, actually, Ashley Greene casted as Alice was like
Perfect.
perfection.
The goat.
The most heartbreaking thing
Perfection. Yeah.
was that Jackson Rathbone was in love with her. Jackson Rathbone is Jasper,
Okay.
and she had feelings for him, and they never told each other.
What the hell?
And then she, eventually got married, and he got married and had kids. And then it was like later on, like, oh yeah, I had a major crush on. They're like, I had a major crush on him too, and I was just like, no.
Well, that's
They're actually a cute couple.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the thing. When Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock did Speed, they had a major crush on each other, but they were just too embarrassed to tell each other.
Mm.
So if you watch the behind the scenes interviews of them, it is like, oh, they're so cute. Oh,
It's
like
the same with
it's
the original
adorable.
Adams Family, Morticia and Gomez from the 60s, the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They were in love with each other, never told each other. She ended up getting cancer or something, and on her deathbed, she kind of revealed, hey, I kind of had a thing for you when we were filming, and
my
he goes,
gosh.
he's like, I never stopped. And I was just like,
You know
ah.
something wild?
That is so Morticia.
The
And
two of them were like,
Gomez
I loved you forever.
on
I
her
loved you forever.
deathbed?
Yeah, I know.
You know something
Dude.
wild? The guy that played Gomez in the original 60s TV show,
Mhm.
he's still alive.
Yeah.
He's like 98 or something, 96.
And he's like, I still love her. And I was just like,
Of course you do, Gomez. Of course you still love her. You guys.
But yeah. But the great transition between part 1 and part 2 that we can really talk about, really dive into, is the awful, awful CGI on the baby and the child.
Well,
Why
are we
is
not
the
going to
CGI
talk
so
about
bad?
that opening transition where she's, focusing on everything now that she's a vampire.
She now has vampire powers.
And they
She's
go
feeling
hunting.
strong. She
Vampire vision.
vampire vision. They're like,
Vampire smell.
and Edward's like, all right, well, we can't let you see the baby yet. We got to go hunting, which is really, it's like, now we got to give the audience what they've always wanted is you with vampire powers running around super cool and fast and
In a
hunting
dress.
stuff. In a dress, you know, because cool. And she almost kills a
Hiker? Or no, not
No,
a hiker.
fucking
A climber.
Mountain climber.
climbing fucking Al Capitan free
Why
solo.
is he? Yeah, free solo. I was like, dude, what are you doing there?
Is that Alex Holland just fucking
It's
like,
like,
yeah,
no
just doing
robes.
this? That was the most scary part about this whole franchise. I'm like, wait, that guy is just alone on
Scary.
a mountainside, just like,
I'm
fuck, I'm
worried
just gonna
for him.
climb up, and then he slips and he snacks his knee, and I'm like, that man's dead.
Mm.
I know Edward's like, Bella, leave him, we gotta go, and it's like, Edward, you probably should get him off the mountain.
I
that,
like-
that man is obviously getting that fatigue. He's gonna die.
There's no thought to help him. It's just like,
If he dies, he dies.
yeah.
That we get into the Russian parts
Yes.
of this where it's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
where it's like, if he dies, he dies.
You guys, and then we see Bella hunt a mountain lion rather than a deer. Okay, mountain lion's about to pounce on a deer.
This is,
And then-
vampire
and-
Bella. She's like, I'm going to go swinging. I'm not going to go for the deer.
Oh, yeah.
I've never done this
But
before.
also, she was kind of the deer, remember, in
she
Twilight?
was, and now she's,
Mhm.
So
the
now
mountain
she's
lion.
like, she's not going to be a predator. She's going to, like,
Be a protector.
protect her by killing bad guys.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Just
bad
like Edward.
animals.
The bad
Exactly.
animals.
The
Ri-
mean animals.
Excuse me, rights for mountain lions. Like, how dare you?
And then they go to the Cullens. Jacob's there. He's chill. He's like, Bella, you made your decision. Awesome. Cool. Because
Now I'm in love with your baby.
now I'm in love with your baby. In a
You got to
totally
get through me
in
first.
a totally non-sensual way. Literally has to do that. You have to go through me first. I'm not going to let you eat your baby, like some sort of animal. And then
And she's like, the fuck? I've been asleep for a few days. What?
What's your problem,
What's your
Jake?
problem? It's like, Bella, you're a newborn. You might try and eat him or whatever. And then we finally get to see little baby Renesmee.
And we were all like, what
So-
the
Hearing you
fuck?
say that word.
Little baby
Wait, couldn't they
Renesmee.
have just had a real baby and then done the CGI over the real baby?
Or why did you need the CGI? Just find a
Find
baby.
that looks kind of like
It takes a while for the babies to look like their parents anyway. So just
Yeah.
find, any
brown-eyed
baby.
It is-
Yeah.
people out there might be thinking that we're making fun of like, oh, it's like poorly aged CGI.
No, this is
it's
canon.
It's an awful
it
looking.
was awful in 2011.
Yes.
It was.
It wasn't
legit
us
so
protecting
bad.
it back then. It was all of us like, what the fuck
What
is
the
this?
hell?
It reminds me of like you Photoshop in somebody's face onto somebody else's body. Like
Yeah.
that's borderline what it looks like, and it's not done well.
No, it's
You
not.
can obviously tell they're not holding a living, moving baby. It's like a baby doll that has a green mask over its fucking head.
Where even the people on set renamed it Chuck Esme because that thing looked like Chucky.
Fucking Christ.
So even when the movie was being made, people were like, God, this is bad.
Bad.
Ugh.
Why did they not fix it? Also, there are moments it seems like when the baby's moving that it almost looks blurred. I don't know
Yeah.
if I saw that, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing this. I know other people have seen this. Like, it's bad.
I know I was sitting in there in the theater like, oh, God.
It's like they're trying.
Just when you thought that
Yeah.
it couldn't get worse.
It's seriously like they're just trying to blend the bad CGI in with the rest of the environment.
Mm.
So it's like, oh, it's kind of like blurred around it.
Mhm.
You can't. It's fine. Like it's focused. And it's like, no, it just looks like it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And it's the problem where it's like through the movie, and like 90% of the time you see little Renesmee, it's the actual like child actor's face just CGI'd onto either smaller bodies or
She
a
was
baby.
played by 8 different actresses.
What?
Yeah.
And it still looks like crap.
Yeah, it's like you have the final version from, the end of the movie, you have that actress, and then you have a baby, and then
The like here's the 3-year-old version, here's the 5-year-old version or whatever.
you don't need to slap her face on every version. A child's gonna change. Their features are gonna change, as they get older. And
throw
like
the wig and the context on, you'll be fine.
It's very rare when you get people like in our gene pool where we look the same from birth to death. We don't
True.
change.
True, actually.
But Bella gets to meet her little baby, and
Jacob's
has
like,
to
you know, like,
break the news.
He's like, you held her for 2 seconds. You're good. Give me the baby. And she's just like,
"What's wrong? Why, Jacob? Why are you acting like this?" And then,
like, you were ready to eat her the other day. Now, you want to protect her? What?
I love how Jacob has to explain imprinting and how it's not a weird sex thing.
Renee's loving this.
Okay, y'all, this is one of the worst scenes in the entire saga, in my opinion. When now it cuts to Bella screaming at Jake and like beating him up
Yeah.
outside of the Cullens' house, and Edward just like
Even in the house,
savoring
grabs
it.
him by the neck and just, sees him out. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Edward's watching this and he's like, "Bella, you've never looked more attractive to me than you have in this very moment."
He's like, I'm so hot right now.
God,
And
you
the
just punch him
Cullens-
a little bit
The
more.
Cullens are looking at Edward like, are you not going to stop this? Like, people are kind of like, this is a little over the top.
And he's
I
like,
feel bad for
"Nah."
Jacob, honestly. in
He's
this
like, I
movie.
can't move right now.
Yeah,
But I'm sorry, Kristen Stewart. I'm just butting in. Kristen Stewart's lines are
awful.
so bad.
Why are you going to be so mad to Ness? You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
Mhm.
That's a line in this movie.
It is.
People.
I'm trying to remember, is that in the book?
I don't know, but it is freaking terrible. You nicknamed my child after the Loch Ness monster, and the way she delivers it, I'm just like, this should be funny, but like
Oh, it's funny.
it's funny because it's cringe, but they should have like you know what I mean? Like they should have delivered it more like on the nose, like this is, do you know what I mean? But instead you just feel like you don't see how funny this is, and
It's funny
cringe.
because it's a bad line. Is the thing.
so bad.
But even on top of that, the whole like context of the moment is like Jacob is trying to explain to her. It's like, look, Bella, like I can't choose how imprinting works. It just kind of happens. Like, come on, and it's not.
I'm a
it's,
pedophile.
It's not a weird sex thing.
I didn't choose to be a pedophile.
God,
No,
themes.
he's not a pedophile.
He's not. I mean, it's the whole thing where it's like he makes it very clear, and I think the movie tries to make it very clear it's not a sex thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's far more of like a very protective, like uncle brother situation is what they're trying to get past. And then, you get the
But
flash
it is a
forward
little
later in the
weird.
movie, and then it
you
gets
see
weird.
they are going to end up together. And
Yeah.
she's going to be distilled at as a young woman.
A woman after 7 years.
7 years is when they reach like maturity, and then it's like a whole other layer where it's like this gets really weird and like it gets weird and complicated quickly, and it's not properly explored to make it not creepy
Not
enough.
creepy.
Yeah.
It's so weird actually that you're like, okay, so you did want to bang my mom, and now, forget about that.
You kind of like imprinted on me, which makes us like magically soulmates. That's what you say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you say is what it is.
I don't know. Personally, if I were Renesmee growing up in this environment, I would be like, wow, my family's so toxic. So is my boyfriend or whatever. Like,
So is my creepy uncle.
My creepy
Jacob is
uncle.
the creepy uncle.
he is. Absolutely. He's the creepy uncle. Well, he's become the creepy uncle. It's super freaking weird, honestly, the way it develops.
It's the whole thing where it's like in context of the universe, they're just like, this isn't that weird. But then in context, if you like pull it outside of the movie and just like lay it out, it's like,
It's weird.
it's fucking weird.
It's in the book.
Becky found the Loch
I
Ness
found
Monster line. Please read it to us. Please read it to us.
Let's see.
A reading of Twilight Breaking Dawn, Part 2 by Becky, please.
Oh, so. Come on, Bells. Nessie likes me too. What did you call her? You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness monster, and then I lunged for his throat. Chapter 23.
That's how they end the chapter.
Oh my god.
It's there.
Sweet.
I saw that she called him
Lord.
a mutt, and I'm like, that sounds.
It's racist.
I call myself that, and you get mad.
It's
It's
still
true.
racist.
We are.
We are.
Racist.
We are.
Oh,
That is really bad. Really, really bad.
That's what I was
oh
trying to.
my God.
I was trying to remember. Like, was that the book or was that the movie? Because we have the whole spider monkey
Sweet.
thing.
Now we're getting okay. So they celebrate Christmas together. By the way,
Yeah.
So
Why
just,
weren't we getting Twilight Christmases before this? I wanted to see cool gifts.
Oh, wait. Okay. before we get into that, because we got to get through the whole thing, because the fact that Renesmee's alive, Bella's a vampire, we have a lot of like big shit that starts falling apart very quickly, because now the wolf tribe are like, look, Cullens, we cool. Jacob imprinted on Renesmee, so now she's like part of our tribe. So now you're like,
do anything.
We can't do anything. It's super sacred to us. You're basically family now. Treaty is cool. We're awesome. Peace, love, and harmony. But this is also when the Cullens gift Bella and Edward a cottage to live in, and then
they can bang,
and then they get to bang again, and this time it's full on vampire banging. And they're like, man, this is awesome. Can we just do this all the time? It's like, it took Jasper and Alice 10 years for us to even stand to be around them.
It was Emmett and Rosalie.
But
you tried.
I tried.
You swung.
I remember names. And then there's the whole thing where now Jacob, because he's basically like the Manny to Renesmee, is like, wait, you guys are just gonna like leave with like leave and never come back and fake Bella's death? And this is where we get him revealing to Charlie that he's a wolf person, and that scene is fucking hilarious. It's great. But the reason I bring this up is because it's another moment where we get to exist outside of Bella's universe and see how fucking weird their relationship is. Like the whole culty thing. Is Charlie's like, I haven't heard from my daughter in however long. They're going to spend another week or whatever in vacation. She says she's really sick and she doesn't want to talk to me. And this new boyfriend that I know very little about just whisked her away to some foreign country.
You mean her husband?
Her husband? Okay, yeah, it's her husband, but to Charlie, he's like, I've met this boy 4 times, married my daughter, and I have not seen her in months. Kind of creepy.
It is super weird. And actually, yeah, I agree with you. Like, hearing this, I was like...
Becky looks so mad that you agreed with me.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I don't agree.
No, I didn't react. I was just sitting here.
I don't know. Yeah. I like, again, watching this as an adult, watching this as a parent, I was like, yeah, this is super, like, red flag. Like,
hey, I was worried when you went on your honeymoon. I'm like, I don't know who this dude is. And you left the country. And I'm like, oh, God, is she going to be okay?
I mean, people... You regularly do leave the country or travel for their honeymoon. Yeah. But I mean, like, to be like, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I can't come home. Oh, I'm going to an asylum in, like, Switzerland or something.
That's when it's like I need to come out there.
Yeah. And then, like, he finally, when Charlie does come to the Cullen house, am I skipping ahead too much?
No, because that's the same sequence of events.
Yeah, we're in the same lineup, because this is also where Jacob like reveals to Charlie that he's a werewolf or whatever,
but not that Bella's a vampire or that the Cullens are vampires.
I think Jacob's idea is like, I'll tell Charlie about there's some freaky shit going on, but don't give details to the Bella situation
that will endanger him.
Your perception of the world isn't really what the world is, and I'm going to show you. This way, Bella and the baby don't have to leave.
Yeah. Also, the funny part of the whole situation is Jacob's like, Charlie, I have something to show you. And he just starts stripping naked. And Charlie's like, Jacob, what the fuck are you doing? Please stop. I'm an officer of the law. This is weird. And then he turns into a werewolf. And it's, very funny scene. I laughed my fucking ass off because...
And wished you were there. We know.
No. It's
you would be like, yeah, Jacob. No, please, please stop.
No, it's just so fucking funny, because these two are probably like my favorite like actors in the whole franchise, just because they're funny.
Leaving Billy out like that?
Huh?
Just leaving Billy out like that?
Billy Burke?
Billy Black.
Billy Black,
the actor, Charlie. Yes.
No.
Billy Black, the
Jacob's
American.
father.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So so they're my top 5. Yeah, top 4. Yeah, we're in there. But yeah, I just thought it was fucking. They just have a great dynamic. It's funny.
Men?
No, I mean, I'm not like some people here who hate Bella. I think she's kind of funny, but
Yasmin's about to lunge across the table.
Yeah. Bella and Jane, I like hate equally.
Alice is fun. I think I like Alice more. Whatever. Getting into it. So Charlie figures out this whole thing. Funny scene, and now we get the whole thing of her and Charlie kind of like reconciling and figuring, and they're gonna like figure it out now.
Okay.
But it's still creepy. It's weird.
It's still weird. He shows up to the Cullens' house, and her Carlisle kind of is like, "Oh, hey, Charlie." Like, it's definitely like, feeling culty, like Dean said. Then they come in, and did anybody notice that when Charlie sits down to have the conversation with Bella, one of the coffee table books is Hard Avedon. I'm like, that's literally just a book of pornographic photos.
No, I
What?
didn't even
Isn't
notice.
it?
No, I didn't notice
that's
any
what
of the...
I would think. It's like Richard Avedon's like more
Racy stuff.
racy stuff, and I'm like, why is that on a family's coffee table?
They're
But then
really
they're the
high
Cullens,
class.
right? So
I just think it's like a very weird thing because the Cullens and it probably makes sense because the Cullens house also doesn't look like a place anyone has lived in many years. It looks like a fucking show house.
But in the first movie, it was a real house.
No. I
So-
assume it's a real house,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like the production design when you go in, it's like this doesn't feel like a house. It feels like a hotel, or it's like it doesn't feel like people actually live here. It just like feels like people
they
stay
don't.
here. Yeah,
because they're vampires.
Yeah,
They're
nobody
vampires.
lives there.
exactly. I mean, the only reason Edward bought a bed was so him and Bella could just fucking go at it. You know?
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The
part of the movie.
cottage is literally just for that.
It's just a fuck.
Because everybody else lives in the family home,
Yeah.
but they're newlyweds. So there you go.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, the very weird culty sense about the Cullens just becomes more apparent as the series goes on, and this is kind of where it starts hitting the head, where it's like kind of obvious they don't. If I was Charlie, I would have probably have like gotten the boys together and be like, guys, we need to go start arresting people. I think the
We need
Cullens
to
have
do a
abducted my
raid."
dollars. Yeah, but
Just
I
more
digress.
bodies to get rid of.
more bodies to get rid of. But I digress. Now that that's happened, they figure in Charlie as like, you're gonna be the we're not gonna go anywhere. We're gonna stay. All this other stuff. And then they put Bella to the test as what she can do now. She's like super strong. All this stuff, has a thing with Emmett. But then we get
That
a-
ASMR was really good, by the way.
the what the Yeah.
Yes, you scratching your beard.
it happens.
It picked up really well in the
Thank
mic.
you.
I did. Yeah.
Everyone out there, this is for your ASMR. So
Is he sanding or is he scratching his beard? You'll never know.
you'll never know. But one of the Cullens' cousins from like I guess Alaska, Caesar Nesme, is like jelly, reports it to the Volturi, and then this is
Well,
when we
'cause
get to see
She's the one that's in love with Laurent.
the
Okay.
oh yeah, from the first movie?
Yeah.
Yes. And then
Fuck, you've been dead for 3 movies, honey.
Get
Calm
over
down.
it, yeah.
I know, and then she sees, Renesmee, and she's like, boom, werewolf, immortal child. I got you now, cousins.
Mhm.
Also, what a shitty cousin.
They're not
She
really
is.
cousins. They're just like kind of know each other.
Yeah. None of them are really blood.
But we all have cousins that aren't really cousins, but, you still gotta have
Would
each other's back.
backstab you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the Volturi get wind of this, and then we get to the
And
wonderful
what's
Michael
the,
Sheen.
like, what's the issue with it? Like, the issue, I think we should explain it.
the
or should
issue of what immortal children are?
Yeah. Because I think this is hilarious as a parent.
That children are awful and will kill the village.
Yeah, just that, like, vampire children are too dangerous because a tantrum will literally
Yes.
destroy
I love that.
a village. Or
That baby had a tantrum and took out the entire village. Like,
Mhm.
that sounds about right.
Hmm.
So also backstory, Irina, the girl who their cousin who
You mean the narc?
the narc
That bitch.
who
The narc.
yeah
I'm glad she dies at the end.
she does die at the end, but like her mother, right? Her mother
Mhm.
made an immortal child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like centuries prior,
Mhm.
and then the child and her mother were killed for it
Mhm.
by the Volturi, of course.
Volturis are like, there's order, there's law, and it is ours. Now get in the fucking fire.
True. That is
Fuera.
that is their way.
Mm.
But Irina, I think for her, it's like, one, the wolves killed Lawrence, so I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And two, my mom died for this, as did her immortal child. So she has reason to it's not good reason to be so petty and evil, but
It was 3 movies ago, honey. Let it go.
It's like you go
Yeah.
and you confront. You go, what the hell are you doing? Do you not know that this is, against our rules?
Uh-huh.
Instead of just, I'm going to run assuming and then jumping into the ocean.
And then they'd be
Yeah.
like, well, she's a miracle baby. That's literally like a
Half
one of a
human, half
kind. It's a
vampire, yeah.
thing. She's not the Antichrist, we swear.
Seems
Hasn't
pretty
been-
nice.
Hasn't been proven yet, but whatever. She plays the piano.
She does. She collects snowflakes.
Hmm. But yeah, it causes some problems. Are
Do
you
you-
okay over there?
I'm great.
All right.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Always.
Are you as great as Michael Sheen in this movie?
No.
God, that he has been in 5 minutes of cumulative screen time of the last part, like the last half of this entire franchise, and now it's like, oh,
He owns the show.
owns the shit. He's in a different movie. I'm imagining he's doing rails of coke before he starts every scene. Because now the Volturi are making a run to Forks. They're like, we're going to build up an army. We're going to wipe out the Cullens and kill the immortal child, because bad news bears. And the Cullens get wind of this, and they have to start building up their own Avengers squad, which has fucking Rami Malek?
Yeah.
Rami Malek's in this movie?
Yeah.
He is.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Also, he's the Avatar?
I mean, they're not really trying to. Yeah, he is the last Airbender. I think they're saying they're not really trying to build up an army, but they're trying to build like a band of witnesses who will, attest to the fact that the child is not a danger. But really, it's an army.
It's they're getting ready to throw down.
They're strong. They could do it.
And that's like the last fucking hour of the movie is all the witnesses and everybody coming together. The Volturi making their march across like the world to get to them. And is there any of the witnesses that you wanted to point out? Because I heard you hated the Russians.
Oh
The
my
Romanians.
The Romanians.
No, I didn't hate them. I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous and comical. Vladimir and Stefan,
Vladimir and Stefan.
who were not invited. Yeah.
I remember when we were in our castle, everything was cool when we did it. And then the fucking Italians showed up.
It's a funny
line in this movie, by the way.
Yeah. It's a funny touch. I think she had to nod to, the Romanian vampires, but
Dracula 1 and 2, you mean?
Dracula 1 and 2, creepy.
Those eyes?
I just like how they're dressed like fucking Max Shrek from Nosferatu. That's like their actual fucking costumes.
They're actually dressed like the Eastern Europeans I went to university with in 2011, who were just like techno for life. We drink vodka and we just listen to the techno beats. That's how they're dressed.
See, it's real.
Yeah, they have these skinny black ties with white button-ups that are too small, and then a leather jacket that's too small, and really pointy, shiny black shoes that are too small.
It seems to be a pattern here.
Yeah, things are too small.
It's a miracle you came back human. You didn't, get turned when you were over there. And,
right. It's dangerous.
The Berlin Wall fell and techno swept across the land.
It really did.
Jesus Christ.
Electronica is freedom, Dean. But they're right at the end. I think the Volturi should have been wiped out.
Yeah,
okay.
just right there.
The price was high to wipe out the Volturi.
Yeah.
But, because, spoiler, Alice sees
the future.
Yes.
It goes bad.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad. But I think that the Romanians are right, that the Volturi are just going to cause more shit down the line, because they're a mafia, basically.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they're right.
They're right.
But I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be in power. I think it should be a democracy, vampires.
A democracy.
I'm done. That's my final word.
Because this is a thing about this entire franchise, if I'm being for real. Because we get all these cool vampires to show up. They're all swapping stories.
They're
all
falling in love.
Falling in love. They all have these backstories and all this other stuff.
Showing off their powers.
And it's it's like a fucking superhero movie. Okay.
We find out Bella has a power.
Bella has a power.
And her daughter.
She's Bella. Yeah, Bella is a shield, right? Vampire abilities don't work around her or whatever, and she can project it onto people. And then Nessie, Renesmee, her power is she can communicate by touching people is what they say, but I don't really know what it is.
She shows them her memories and right?
Yeah.
Or
through touch. So it's just okay. Cool.
Okay.
Not one of my favorite powers, but
it's
a power.
It's useful for this story.
For the story, yeah.
But the part of the movie the part of the series that actually I kind of like is when they start getting into their backstories and shit, where it's yeah, Jasper, he was a Civil War colonel and all this stuff, and he had all this stuff.
Battle scars,
which again,
that's
awful.
so well, Becky.
Thank you.
But then there's some of them where it's you got the bonfire going, let's swap some war stories. And I was I remember when I fought the Redcoats. Oh, the Redcoats. I was there at the fall of Constantinople. You think Hannibal did that himself? And they all start swapping war stories and shit. And I'm I kind of want to see this fucking movie. I want to see vampires invading Constantinople. That sounds bad fucking ass.
Sounds cool.
See what we could have had? Instead of this plot line.
Instead of this plot line.
We could have had a TV series about like vampires through history. That
You-
would have been cool.
It's
Yeah.
the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It's like, but what if they're vampires? And that's the whole premise of the show. You know? So
I like it.
yeah, that's all it is. George Washington, actually a vampire. That's what it is. Look it up.
You could definitely make a series like this where like certain events are like, you know, caused by vampires.
Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. That's
There
the
we go.
whole-
There we
that's the
go. There we
book,
go.
yeah.
whole reason the Civil War happened. It was vampires.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries, it revolves around the Civil War.
What is with vampire people's obsession with the Civil War?
I don't know.
Well, so it builds up. There's a lot of like swapping the stories of Volturi's that get more powerful. I'm trying to think, is there any other major things before the end battle, like plot wise or character wise?
Alice leaves.
Oh yeah, Alice leaves
Mysteriously.
to
Alice and
mysteriously.
Jasper.
You know, trying to make you think, you know, wow, she just abandoned the family.
Mm.
She leaves a note, which has, you know, it's written on the back of the cover page for The Merchant of Venice.
Hmm.
And she knows that Bella is, you know, Sherlock in her spare time. She's going to figure out this mystery.
That was the most unbelievable part of this movie, by the way.
It's in the book, too.
The weirdest part is when she goes to meet Jay Jenks in the restaurant and you're like, wait, is this the same movie?
Considering it was in his office in the book. That's why I'm like, oh, you know, I have to do this in the restaurant because, you know,
It's public.
it's public. And in the book, he's like, no, come in. Yeah, Jasper, yeah, he ordered this for you guys. Yeah, here, take it.
I also
It's very cut and dry.
Another cool layer of backstory is like, yeah, I've worked for, Jasper for 15 years. My father worked for him for 20 before that. They're a strange, well-preserved family. And it's like, wait, so they have fucking like henchmen in the human world that
Well,
get them shit?
yeah.
Well, I mean, as technology is going, you have to have people that can get you, you know, legal documents and stuff that you need.
I prefer the term henchman, but yes. But yeah, and I guess they find out that what Alice and Jasper did is they set up like passports and tickets to get Jacob and
Birth certificates.
and birth certificates to get Jacob and Renesmee out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
in case it gets bad. Yeah.
Or it will get bad.
Yeah, but they
Because
have
Alice knows.
Alice
knows
the
it all.
She sees stuff.
She sees things.
Why did no one be like, hey, Alice, like, Miss Know-It-All, like, can you calm down, And she's like, I literally see the future. Well, yeah, but I also don't like to hear about it, so
That would be you. Yes, that's very you having a conversation with Alice. Well, you know what? I don't like this. I'm going home.
Every time you start a new relationship, she's like, I'm just going to tell you where this is going. Shut up.
Oh, my God.
That would benefit for so many people.
True.
Could you imagine, it's just like, Alice is like, hey, I'm gonna go like try and play the field at the vampire like punch bowl, and she just goes up, it's like, hey, how are you? Actually, no, this is just gonna end in a really shitty divorce. Goodbye. Oh, how are you? Nah,
That could be fun.
Nah.
I'd watch that movie.
I would watch that.
It's
Also,
a
is she
speed
Miss
dating-
Cleo? Is she Miss Cleo? Is she just like, let me tell you about your future. I've got your cards right
I
here.
missed that.
She would roll up to being like, hey, you two over there that looking really lovey-dovey, don't do it.
It's not
Don't
worth
do
it.
it. You both are gonna cheat on each other so much. Also, can I get your number? All right, cool. Yeah. That would be very funny.
And then we have the battle, not babble.
Oh.
This part pissed me off.
Yeah, he couldn't even spell when he was texting me.
Oh, I had a stroke mid text about this. I was so pissed because
Set it up, Dean.
Okay. There's snow on the ground as they meet in the clearing. The two fucking vampire armies show up. The wolves are waiting in the fucking wings to flank the Volturi. And then they have this big, long negotiation, and I'm like, fucking, all right, we get it. All right, cool, whatever. Alice shows up, Jasper shows up, it's getting intense. And then they find out that it's like, oh, well, Renesmee isn't a danger to us, but she's different. And that means one day she might become a danger. So it fucking goes down. And then fucking Michael Sheen flies in the air, and fucking Carlisle flies in the air, and they land, and the camera reveals fucking Michael Sheen ripped Carlisle's fucking head off. And I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. They
That's
killed
the
that.
moment. That's the moment.
I
When
know.
Carlisle's head is ripped off and
People screamed in the theater. It was awesome.
Okay, how did she do this in the book? Because I remember this.
The battle scene doesn't happen in the book.
It doesn't happen in the book at all?
No, it's just conversation. And that's why the studio was like, no, we need to add something because that's not going to work.
You need a final battle scene.
Okay,
You need a
right.
battle scene. So that's why, I'm sorry. That's why they do it where it's just, it's this premonition that Alice is like, yeah, this is your future. You want to roll the dice? And it's like, yeah, I can see how that might be better than we talk for 40 minutes and then, all right, well, we're going back to Italy. All right, well, we're all going to, go our separate ways.
Is that
Okay,
really
bye.
how it goes in the book?
Yeah.
For real? Okay. Dang.
So it's basically the same as the movie, except they show you what in the book was implied, kind of thing.
I
Right?
mean, I don't think it's the same at all.
Yeah, there's no battle. I don't think she shows a battle.
No. I that's the thing where it's like, because you're saying in the book that Al, like fucking Michael Sheen touches Alice or whatever, and it's like, oh, he sees the future, but it's not written down in the book at all. This in the movie is probably like, well, this is what he probably saw. That's just not mentioned in the book. Is I guess what they're trying to do here, but I digress.
You think that it's really happening. Point is,
Yeah,
when
they-
you're watching the movie, you
They did
think,
it so well.
Yes, you think Carlisle has really been murdered, beheaded.
And they just start killing bitches. People start fucking dying.
Jasper dies.
Jasper dies. Fucking, like, you think
Esme
Edmund's gonna die.
almost
Seth
dies.
dies.
Seth
Leah dies.
Leah dies.
And Leah gives her life for Esme, and Esme's like, oh my gosh, she hated me, but she was willing to die for me.
Fucking half of Volturi's
You
get
think
killed.
Edward's gonna die?
I heard them fucking cracking when he was starting to give him the fucking diamond cutter, and I was
Caius
like, oh,
gets
God,
the best
please.
death when Tanya rips his
Oh.
his
Do the
head off
fucking jaw rip.
through the jaws. Yeah.
I love the giant Volturi when the two Russians are coming at him, and he's like, oh.
Marcus, who's been
Finally.
Marcus has been waiting to die.
ah.
And that's in the books too.
but
He's
wait.
just like, please kill me.
This scene, though, I was like watching Jane. I was like, somebody get that little bitch. It's so satisfying to see her die.
They fucking you get eaten by wolves and shit. Like, again, this battle scene, I was like, oh yeah, oh fuck yeah, kill all these bitches. It's the last movie, kill them all.
He's
Fuck
texting
yeah.
me during the battle, and he's like, "There's no mercy. Everyone's dying." And I'm like, "Oh no, wait until he gets the reveal. Then he's gonna go from 0 to 100."
She likes reading my texts like that, where it's like, oh no, there's no mercy. Oh no, like I'm sad. It's like, no, I'm like, fuck yeah, there's no mercy. Yeah, you're killing them all. Holy shit, this is metal as fuck.
You guys remind me of the like Key and Peele skit where like they're grossly misunderstanding the tone of each other's texts. Have you seen
Yes.
that? one?
Accurate,
Valid.
accurate.
And
That
it's
is-
like, oh
that-
yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, whatever.
Yes, that's us 100%. I'm the one getting pissed off, and I'm just like, "So you don't want to hang out?" I was like, "Whatever you want to do." I'm like, "Whatever I want to do."
Yeah, people are like, oh, that's just a funny miscommunication. That's every day.
That's the
Every
end
day.
of a
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
I open it's
Right.
like, hey, good morning, and you're like, good morning. Whose fucking morning is good right now? You fucking prick. Throws the phone away. But yeah,
That's expensive. Think I could just throw phones away every day?
it happens. So, but yeah, the battle scene is like fucking holy shit. Everyone's dying.
The ground has been split open by Benjamin.
Yes, fucking
Rami Malek.
Rami
Mhm.
Malek, fucking Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm like, holy shit, this is metal. And then they fucking kill Michael Sheen, and it's fire. And then it comes back.
She's
and it's
throwing
like,
The last thing he sees is Bella burning him.
Yeah.
And then you see his eyes, just the fire in his eyes, and then it cuts.
it cuts back, and it's like, wait, what the fuck?
I
Yeah.
wish I was there to see his
And
reaction.
it was like, oh, that's what would happen. I was disappointed. I was like, I just want Jane dead at any cost.
Yeah.
Like, just Jane is too powerful and needs to die.
Ugh.
And she
The
didn't do shit.
Volturi are too powerful. I
Yeah.
love to see a mafia, like, get it. Okay, just...
You-
And
you-
by get it, I don't mean, like, get it. I mean, like, get it.
Her favorite movie is The Untouchables. I was so fucking annoyed because it's a thing where it's like the whole franchise. Like we talked about this in the last
No
episode.
stakes.
No stakes.
Mhm.
Like there's no consequences, no stakes, and I'm like, oh that, okay, whatever. Their negotiations fine, and then everyone starts fucking dying, and I'm like, oh my god, all the consequences, all this bullshit. Oh my god, everyone's like, hey Bella, maybe you shouldn't have been like, hey Edward, why don't you just fuck me? And it's like, oh, consequences.
Right, like
Actions.
Jasper's dead. Carlisle's dead. Leah is dead.
Seth is
Thanks to-
dead.
Thanks to, yeah, because of freaking Bella and her
Renesmee-
selfish
Renesmee
choices.
and Jacob ran away and are gonna disappear into the ether. So you lost your family, you lost it's all gone bad. And I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh my god, I want to see the fucking like ashes settled and them and fucking like Edward Bella being like, what do we do now? And then being like, I don't know. Cut to black, like a downer ending, like we're in the fucking 70s, like we're pulling out from fucking the motorcycle crash from the end of Easy Rider, and it's playing fucking Suicide is Easy, like from MASH, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so fucking dark. This is cinema.
Told
And then
you it's the sugar he had this morning.
the fucking waffles,
The maple syrup is hitting.
and then we get I'll just say it, I got fucking teased. And then it cuts, and it's like, well, I guess I don't want that then. And then he leaves.
It's a very good impression.
Fucking leaves. That, by the way,
both are like, we out.
that is how he laughs. That's how he laughs.
Yeah, that is how he laughs. And then the Cullens and all their friends and the wolves are like, woo-wee-hee, and they all kiss. And they're
Yeah,
like,
they'll have to make out. Like, oh, that was a close one. All right,
of
let's
course they have
kiss.
to make out. Yeah.
And then we also get the Deus Ex Machina of like, this has never happened before. And then the guy shows up. He's like, yeah, I'm from the Amazon. Yeah, also, I'm literally Renesmee. I'm 150 years old. You'll be
That
cool
was
to
even
go
something
7.
that they could have, gone plot-wise with this, where, his dad was like this evil vampire and he wanted to do like his own like lineage vampire army, half human, half vampire. I'm like, that would have been more entertaining than...
That would have been cool, and that would have gotten into like classic mythology of like, like a vampire or a god.
The demigod side.
Yes, taking advantage of immortal.
And you could still, pull the Volturi into this where it's like, hey, what are you doing? Instead of, oh, we saw her and vampire children are no, we got to kill all of you. It's like...
I feel like every time we have potential in this saga to have some like juicy, interesting, like stuff, something that could have substance. It's like, nope.
Yep.
It's the thing where it's like, that is not what this franchise is about. Yeah,
Mhm.
let's pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
But they get the Deus Ex Machina. They're just like, okay, well, he's cool, so that means Renesmee is going to be cool too, so whatever. We'll go back to Italy for now. Cool.
Renesmee gets to be half immortal. She gets to eat food. That would be the biggest
blood,
flex.
you know?
Or blood. She gets to do both.
That'd be the biggest flex. Like, I loved chocolate when I was human. I don't have to give up chocolate. I can still eat chocolate. Like, oh, you guys remember that?
I mean, yeah, she's got the best of both worlds.
You know
quite
what?
Literally.
I'm gonna go take a nap. Oh, that's right. You guys can't nap.
You'd be an
Also-
immortal vampire, boo, that can drink regular milk.
I doubt it. Even then, I'd probably still be lactose.
She's a superhuman. She can live, like, she has like amazing strength, mortality, gifts.
Mhm.
But like doesn't have to drink blood. Has a soul. Like,
Half a soul.
yeah.
Half a soul's better than no soul. That's just math.
Which kind of brings us to the final scene of Edward and Bella.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about souls a little bit, but go on.
Yeah, we get to the end. They're sitting in the field again.
The meadow.
The meadow. It's really pretty. And they're like, we can just be this loving teenage love couple forever. And it's like, you got a kid and 7 years of
Someone's
raising
watching her.
Not really, because she's like a built-in babysitter.
Mm.
So-
She has a Manny.
Yeah, a
Mhm.
nanny.
A male
Yeah.
nanny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you not heard of this before?
No, but that's great.
But they're having their whole conversation, get the happily ever after, but you have issues with a happily ever after? Because
Yeah,
Edward
so-
and Bella are awful people.
Yeah, well, Bella's able to like finally. She uses her like barrier projection,
Her shielding.
her
Yeah.
shielding to like open her mind to Edward to finally show him like her memories or whatever.
Her
How-
thoughts. Since
yeah.
he's
Her
been,
thoughts, yeah.
Since he's been trying to do that since day one, and it's been driving him crazy. And she's like, "All right, I'm gonna gift you with this."
Right. And then she says to him, "You can see now that I've loved you more than anyone has ever loved anybody before." And I'm like, wow, delusional.
And he hits her back with the, well,
I love you more.
I almost. And then they kiss, and it's like, oh, fuck you, movie. You all should have died.
Yeah, yeah. So this
Stakes.
is what teenagers love, but
Mhm.
teenage girls. But
Yeah.
I was like, all right, watching vampires die for like this whole series, I'm like, wow. And like they can be offed easily by another vampire
Mm-hmm.
or a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're pretty fragile, like glass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
They sparkle in the
so
sun.
like I was like, is it really worth giving up your eternal soul to like be a vampire and like have vampire sex for like a pretty long time until somebody decides to murder you? Or like, would you rather just have a mortal life and then in the afterlife that you will be reunited like for reals for eternity? Like, I feel like that.
Well, that's even getting into like the theological question of like, in this world, is there an afterlife?
Not for vampires.
Well, okay, but do the vampires even know that? I guess that gets into a
Yeah,
weird
they do,
theological
because
question.
that's why Edward doesn't want her to give up her eternal soul.
But that's, you know,
Do they know positively that there's an afterlife?
I don't think they positively.
If they
know.
positively,
like
if they
for reals,
yeah,
know?
if
I
they
don't
positively know, whereas like there's
he,
an afterlife,
he
then
gets
it's,
that from
yeah.
Carlisle, because Carlisle's father was religious. He was a priest or a pastor or something,
Mhm.
and it was, you know, they were having issues with the vampires at the time. So it was like these soulless creatures. So it kind of just spread to Edward. You know, this, oh, we don't have souls. This is bad. You know, if we die, you know, there's nothing after this. Where it's like
Literally nothing.
it's like they don't know.
Nothing. But
If-
then they say things that they do know. Like when he kills before he kills Victoria, he tells her like, I turned him to ash, James. I
But
turned
he's
James
still
to
like,
ash, I
under
turned
that
him to nothing.
perception that there's nothing after this, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's not for certain. I think they know as much as mortals, as humans do.
exactly.
And we
It's-
know everything. We're awesome.
We know everything.
We're awesome.
infinite beings. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just assuming that there is an afterlife, it's like, what? Like, I don't know. As an adult, I'm like, is that really a great exchange? I don't think so, personally.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, she doesn't have a choice because she's like, he's a vampire. So okay, let's just say he doesn't have an afterlife. He just, once he dies, that's it. Then she's like, I'm going to make this huge romantic gesture and be with you, right? Like, give it all up. And because there's no point in me living in the afterlife anyways if you aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just like, oh my God, eye rolling. Like, should have just gone with Jacob, okay?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Fucking
Okay,
thank you.
that's my conclusion as an adult woman. Like, okay, yes, they weren't meant to be. Obviously,
Yeah.
like she had a daughter who he's now deciding is okay. He imprinted on her daughter. Awkward.
Creepy
But-
uncle vibes, but whatever.
But like, they could have had a good life together, and
And that's the
they would have had an afterlife together. Is what I'm saying. Like, they really would have been together for truly for eternity.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had a good, you know, afterlife together, I'm assuming, but the heart wants what the heart wants.
And her heart wanted that fucking vampire cock. That I mean, like that. This really just comes down to just how horny Bella is for Edward.
Mhm.
Very.
It comes down to being a horny teenage girl.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts on the breaking of dawns?
It's
1
broken.
and 2. It has been broken.
It's been
Morning
broken.
has broken like the first morning. I will say, watching the credits, I told you guys it was a little emotional.
Oh, yeah.
But watching the credits, I was like, okay. For some reason, the credits to me felt like the people who made this movie were really trying to do something with care for like the fans of this saga. Like,
Mhm.
like this was like done with a lot of intention, with a lot of good intentions.
The credits? Or the
But
saga in general?
when I saw the credits and like how they like really tried to make this last book feel like epic, like
Mhm.
they really tried to give the audience like what they were hoping for, what they wanted. I'm not saying that they did every time.
Yeah.
There's plenty of cringe in this saga.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but you never feel like they phoned it in.
Mhm.
No,
other
yeah,
than the
I
actors,
feel like
but
they
whatever.
really, with a lot of like purpose, like, and like I said, good intentions, they really tried to like make this what they thought the fandom wanted.
Yeah.
You know? I'm about to cry.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as members of the fandom, you two did at the end of Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2, did you feel satisfied? Did they adapt the books the way you wanted it? Were they truly what you wanted this franchise to be?
It could have been more.
Could have been more.
Could have been more, but I mean, it was pretty close to the book. So, yeah, I was just kind of sad that the adventure was over.
Yeah, I would say yes and no.
Yes and
Mhm.
no.
Yes and no. Like there were very hit. It's like hit and miss simultaneously. Yeah. I feel like just the vibes are off for me. Like when you read the books, I don't feel like the books are cringy. Even the Loch Ness monster line, which is written in there,
Mhm.
like I don't know. I don't feel like the books are cringe, but the movies just. I
Ugh.
feel like they just didn't have the vibe. It wasn't the vibe that I wanted. New Moon was the closest that it got.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I mean, I would even say like New Moon's probably the best one.
think so.
Honestly, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is like the other one. I would say those two are actually like
Mhm.
pretty good movies, or solid enough for me to be like, yeah, no, I can like enjoy these as like just movies. The rest of them vary wildly in quality,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
wildly. But I guess the this is actually a question I think I asked in the first one, but again, we record these wildly out of order, so I don't remember. Could they remake this franchise now that we've seen all of it, all its flaws, all they've done, all the cast or whatever? Is this too Santa Sancrum to ever do again? Could they do this as like a TV series? Could they do this as another set of movies? Could they remake these at all? Because again, I just watched it the first time, but you two have fucking lived with this, so.
I would say yes. I don't believe that this is like untouchable. I think it's more like a cursed thing that people are like, are we going to try to do Twilight again? Because
And it's like, I don't know if you can get the excitement that you did with that first round of this. It's like, I don't think you can get, like the artists that were kind of like, damn, if I get onto one of their soundtracks, that's huge for me. It's like, I don't think we can get to that level of fandom that we were 15 years ago.
It's also,
Yeah.
I feel like the books have kind of like fallen out of the cultural
Mhm.
consciousness. It's like the movies have completely overtaken
there would
the
have
books.
to be a resurgence of interest in the books.
Hmm.
Whereas, like, the original fandom, the millennial girls who read this series, like, we're aging out of it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, it would really have to have a revival in the way that, like, I think we mentioned this before, that, like, Harry Potter doesn't need a revival. It
Mhm.
just stays in fashion, and The Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they could, like I said, it's not that the films are untouchable. It's just, like, a matter of interest,
Yeah.
you know?
I see. Well, any final thoughts on the Twilight Saga as we've come to an end here?
It was fun.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun.
We didn't get to finish these movies together. We started them together. So it was kind of fun to come around and complete the series together.
Yeah. It was really interesting to revisit. I'm really excited that I had an opportunity to revisit this.
Well, nice.
And you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna just say it. The summation of them are better than the sum of its parts, I guess. I don't know how to phrase it right. The individual movies are not great. Like none of them I would say are great pieces of cinema. I think I've mentioned this before, but all of them together actually make a pretty decent franchise. There was
Mhm.
actually an enjoyable watch. I'm not even trolling here. It's like, no, I kind of legitimately enjoyed the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not, it's complicated because it's like there is a distinctive like through line plot, the characters cringy, weird, whatever, but it's like there's enough interesting shit here where it's like I'm not bored. I was never bored watching these. I was like, oh fuck, that line's awful. They paid you how much to put that wig on? Oh lord. It's stuff like that where it's like
Mhm.
production or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's like most of the actors are pretty game
Mhm.
for it. Like even when they're phoning it in, they're interesting. You
It's
know,
entertaining.
it's entertaining. Yeah, I would say overall, like I would probably like for the gentlemen out there, the men who growing up like me heard Twilight and thought, man, that shit dumb. I would kind of recommend it to like give it a watch because odds are your girlfriend probably really likes it and she would enjoy watching it along with you. And you're gonna find something you like. Again, Charlie is the GOAT. Fucking Charlie Billy relationship. I wish that was a thing. I wish the end of this series was everyone dies, Bella dies, Edward dies, and then Charlie and Billy are like, time to go for a ride. We need to go to Italy and take care of some business as they cock their shotguns and it's a fucking Monster Hunter thing. That'd be sick as fuck.
Dean is going to produce this.
Don't tempt me, woman. But it's a thing where there's enough like fun bullshit in this you can enjoy it. So I would say 3 out of 5, not bad for the franchise, pretty good. So yeah, but that is the end of Twilight and the end of December.
Almost.
Almost. We have 1 or 2 episodes
We have
left.
one more episode left. It's our most anticipated episode every year because it's the most movie-filled episode of the year. It's our year in review.
That's right, where we take stock of every episode. Well, okay, our favorite episodes. We shout out all of our guests. We give little awards out to the guests
We
that really
do.
showed up. But if you wanted to listen to those, where can they go?
If you want to listen to us on a different platform than you currently are, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. We're finally caught up.
You can go to our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube, because the Film Club was taken, and you could watch the video versions of these podcasts or the slideshow versions of these podcasts.
And the video version of our year in review, because that's going to be the first time it's on video.
It's on video. You'll actually get to see us talk. And you can like, comment, and subscribe there, and also follow our social medias at
The Film Club Podcast on Instagram, where we post upcoming episodes, guests we're going to have, random adventures we go on. And yeah.
Yasmin, would you like to plug anything? Our new theology podcast, The Three Wise Men.
Our new theology
Or the
podcast.
two wise men and the one wise woman.
Three Magi, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was the 3 Magi.
Stay tuned. It's going to get real. Becky's not going to be here for that. But
No, I'll be eating a sandwich somewhere.
yeah, I know. But thanks for having me along for the crazy Twilight ride.
Thank you for the journey, because this month has been a journey.
It has. It really has. I feel like Bella on that motorcycle careening down the road trying to take my life into my own hands.
It took
Crashing into the rock.
so long to get all of these together. You guys have no idea.
A lot of commitment.
We started recording this shit in June.
In August.
August, yeah. August, wow.
But with that,
We'll see you next week at the Film Club.
have a good week, everybody.